Alright, it is that time of the year again. The one stream you can always 100% count on me doing every single year, without fail, is the anniversary stream for none other than Dragon's Lair 3D Return to the Lair, released 23 years ago on this date, November 18th. I never let a year go by without revisiting it live on stream, even though I've played it a bajillion times before, and you've probably seen me play it a bajillion times before. Never gonna stop. Game means too much to me to let the opportunity pass me by. But yeah, welcome to the stream. Good morning, everybody, or whatever time of day it is in your current region. Good current period of day. Hope you all are having a good time. Hopefully, you all are looking forward to seeing me play through this again. And yeah, I probably shouldn't be playing this right now. I probably should be finishing the Toy Story 1 love letter. But you gotta make some exceptions. You gotta make the exception for Dragon's Lair 3D. That's just the rule of the universe. I'm not missing the Toy Story 1 30th anniversary, assuming copyright allows me to not miss the anniversary. But I'm also not missing the anniversary of Dragon's Lair 3D. So, I mean, it's not that long of a game, or at least it's not a long game when you know how to play it. When you've played it 8 billion times, it doesn't take that long to get through it, so it's not going to be taking that much time out of my day to play through this. We should be able to get through the game in about I think 3 hours is, like, a little less than 3 hours is my average completion time. Anywhere from 2.5 hours to 3 hours is how long it usually takes me to get through this game, so we'll be alright. Plus, I spent every waking moment from the minute I got out of bed this morning until literally seconds before I started the stream today, editing because I have like 6 minutes of the video left to edit, visually speaking. And then I just have to then I have to send it off to the Space Rangers for peer reviewing, and I gotta lock in the soundtrack. But yeah, I'm closing in on the finish line, which is also part of why I feel comfortable taking some time out of my day today to celebrate the anniversary of my favorite game of all time. So hopefully that answers the question of progress on Toy Story 1 video question. That is the progress update. I have 6 minutes left to edit. And yeah, 6 minutes left to edit for visuals. Music still needs to be finalized. I still need to record an outro technically. I don't really have an outro. And by outro I mean like after the main video is over, and I just take some time to chat and say like, hey, thanks for watching, thanks to the people who helped make this, and here's a brief update on what you can expect from my channel in the future, because the Toy Story 1 video is going to be the last major project that I commit to this year. The plan is still to hopefully get the Sonic triple feature commentary released by the end of the year. Ugonic's been hard at work editing that in the background while I've been editing the Toy Story 1 love letters. We've had two machines running at the same time, and once Toy Story 1 is behind me, I will hop over to his side of the fence and I will help him try to get that across the finish line in time for before the end of the year, I suppose. But as far as major mainline critiques or anything of the sort, Toy Story 1 is going to be it for 2025, and then I'll take the next month to unwind, relax, recharge, and come back in the new year with whatever. I'll probably poll to see what we do next. I might ask like, hey, you want to see a love letter? Or do you want to see a critique, a throwback to the old days, if you will? But we'll see. Again, I haven't even recorded the outro yet, so I don't know what I'm gonna say in that final ending there. Am I excited for Toy Story's 30th birthday on Saturday? I will be excited once this video is done, because that's the whole reason I'm doing it, is to celebrate the 30th anniversary. Once the video is in my rearview mirror, I will be able to say whether or not I'm looking forward to it. Wasn't I doing a Pixar ranking prior to the Toy Story 1 video? Yes, I was. But then D23, the plan was going to be that I released I made a Pixar ranking video, and I would spend August and September working on that, and then I would I'd probably release it like late September, early October, and then I would release it Alright, then after I released that, I would shift to working on the Toy Story 1 video in time for the 30th anniversary. But then D23 happened, and I don't know why I didn't expect anything to come out of I guess I just assumed that because I honestly never really followed D23 before Toy Story 5 happened. I never paid attention to it at all. So it wasn't something that was on my, like, I wasn't expecting anything to come out of D23 last year for Toy Story 5 either. That just kind of happened, and then I woke up to a flurry of notifications saying, like, hey, it's Toys vs. Tech, Woody's back in the room, what are you gonna say about it? And then that sort of hijacked my schedule for the foreseeable future. So, like, this wasn't a thing where, like, every year I look to the Game Awards to see, like, what's gonna happen there. I look to the summer period to see the annual Summer Nintendo Directs, the annual Summer Xbox Game Show, and the Summer PlayStation State of Play. Used to be we called that E3, but E3's dead now. I guess Summer Game Fest would be the official, like, summer commemorative event that showcases all what's upcoming next in the world of video games. So I didn't really view D23 in the same light until recently, so I wasn't really expecting D23 this year to uproot my schedule the way that it did, which is why I wasn't really planning on covering it. But then I saw Smarty Pants, and then I saw Lily Pad, and then I saw the opening scene with all the 50 buzzes, and I'm like, okay, yep, I'm gonna have to make a video about this. So then that changed my plans to the Pixar ranking, and at that point I realized, like, this is gonna... I didn't intend for it to take almost all of September to get that video made, but, you know, I got COVID literally the day after I finished recording the audio for the D23 video this year. I tested positive for COVID, which, you know, I still edited the video while I was sick with COVID. It's not like it prevented me from getting stuff done, it just, you know, impacted my ability to get stuff done. So I was not able to operate as efficiently as I ordinarily would have liked to, so I didn't intend for it to take all of September to get that done. But I did. That happened, and so at that point there was, like, no time left for... I had to choose either stick to my original plans of making the Pixar ranking or shift priority to the Toy Story 1 love letter, and I decided that even though people voted for the Pixar ranking to be next, it was more important to me that I would be able to get the Toy Story 1 love letter in time for the 30th anniversary. And at the moment, I'm not even sure if that's going to be... Like, I know with absolute certainty that I can get it done in time for the anniversary. That is not... I have no doubt about that whatsoever. I am on pace for that 100%. What I am less confident about is my ability to get it through copyright in time for the anniversary, because my track record with getting 2-hour-plus long videos through copyright on the first try, not stellar, I must admit. I mean, it used to be stellar, but then YouTube changed their system, and now I don't know what to expect. So, we'll see what happens, I guess, but I'm trying not to stress about things which I cannot control. I'm trying to just focus on getting the video done, and then I'll deal with copyright when we get there. So yes, I was originally planning on doing a Pixar ranking, and then D23 happened, and now we're doing the Toy Story 1 love letter. It's 2+ hours. It's the main bulk of the video is about 2 hours, and then however long the outro will be. Because again, I still haven't recorded the outro, so I don't know exactly. I don't know what the finished runtime of the video is going to be, but it will be over 2 hours. It won't be. It won't be more than... It won't be approaching 3. Definitely not. It'll be closer to 2. But it will be closer to 2 hours, but it will still be over 2 hours in total. Which, for me, is on the shorter end of the spectrum compared to the 8-hour and 6.5-hour things I usually make. It's not as scene-by-scene chronological breakdown of the movie like I've done for other things. I think I've said this before in previous streams, but to give you an idea of what to expect, structurally speaking, it's more synonymous with my Owl House video in the sense that it's... Because my Owl House video, in spite of being 8 hours long, does not go through the whole show episode by episode, scene by scene. There's no... I don't even want to think about how long it would take to make a video like that. And it suited the show better to use the structure that I did anyway. So it's kind of similar to that in terms of it being more of a broad overview. But it just is scaled down. So instead of it being a massive 3-season-long, 43-episode TV show, it's a 81-minute movie. So, proportionally speaking, I think it scales down pretty accurately from 8 hours to 2 hours. How am I feeling now? Oh, I mean, this is 2 months ago. I'm not like... I'm fine. It just, you know, it happened in September, and by the end of September, it took longer than I expected for it to go away. Like, the main bulk of my symptoms were that being, like, the super duper high 104 fever, the barely being able to breathe from coughing so much, that all that stuff was gone within a week. It was just, like, the lingering effects, the lingering symptoms and side effects. Nothing major, but enough to make you, like, aware that you weren't completely back to normal yet. And even after I did feel back to normal, I still didn't test negative for a while later, and I wasn't gonna do the thing where it's like, oh, I feel fine. I'm sure no one will be infected, and then I just leave the house and go do whatever I want, even though I haven't tested negative, because I don't feel like getting other people sick, and so I stayed put right here, just doing my thing until I tested negative, because I was not about to go out and about in the world. See, this is kind of one of the things that I would always, when I was in school, there would be people that would come to school really sick, and I don't even mean like, oh, I woke up with a headache, or I woke up with a runny nose, or things like that. I mean, like, you are very clearly physically, violently ill. Why are you here right now? And sometimes the answer was just, well, I want to keep perfect attendance, and it's like, I don't think that really matters. But I think in some cases it was less about their own choice to be there, and it was more like their parents not wanting them to miss a day of school, or their parents having work or other obligations that would prevent them from being able to take care of their kids. I mean, I don't know their personal situations. I wasn't them. I don't know. But I do know that when I was in middle school, my parents would try to convince me to stay in school and not go home, if at all possible. Like, the day I don't know if I mentioned this on the stream before, but I had a seizure in middle school. Because, not like an epileptic seizure, it was a febrile seizure, which usually only happens in infants and, like, really, really tiny kids. But it happened to me, even though I was 13 years old, because I just had such an astronomically high fever, and my body didn't know how to respond to that. And that day, I went to school, and I could tell there was something wrong with me. I just didn't know what it was. Like, I felt really sick. But my parents still like, you gotta stay at school, you gotta test that day, you gotta do your test, you don't want to do makeup work and all that stuff. So I think I wish it was more acceptable for you to say, hey, I'm not feeling well today. Can I stay home? And then they say, yeah. Instead of, no, you gotta try to tough it out. And then that I finally eventually did convince them, like, hey, maybe I should come home today, because I really feel like something is deeply, deeply wrong with me. And eventually they did let me do that, and thank goodness they did, because not long after I got home was when the seizure happened, and yeah, that could have been real bad. So yeah, to circle back to where we started, yes, I did get COVID. It was 2 months ago, and I'm fine now. I was surprised how long it took for it to fully leave my system. It was my first time, if you can believe it. It was my first time actually getting it. I went 5.5 years never ever catching COVID, even though I haven't exactly been a hermit the last 5 years. I've traveled to other countries on the other side of the world. I've been to theme parks. I've been to concerts. I've been to a lot of conventions over the last couple of years. I've done a lot of very, very public, statistically risky things to do in a post-pandemic world, and yet I still somehow avoided catching it. But what finally did me in, it was I went to Orlando with FG at the start of September, end of August, start of September. We went to a bunch of water parks and a bunch of theme parks in the Orlando area, and that seems to have been what finally did me in. I think, because when I was a kid and I would go on vacation with my family, if ever I went into a public body of water, be it a pool or a lazy river or anything like that, without fail, I would always get sick. Without fail. There was no two ways about it. I would always, always, always come back from that trip sick. I don't know why I thought it would be different this time. I guess it's just like I was older, stronger immune system, but no. No, that is not how that works. I'm just glad it didn't impact our trip, and I'm also very glad that no one in she nor anyone in her family caught COVID. I didn't transfer it to her. I don't know how. But miraculously, that didn't happen. So, all's well that ends well. 5 years later, and I got a COVID-19. Yes, 5 years later. It took 5 years to happen. I consider myself exceedingly lucky that I managed to avoid it for as long as I did. Because pretty much everyone I know has had it at least once.
Dragon's ring! And with it, a new ability is yours. The whirlwind.
What do I think about hoppers being compared to Avatar? Well, I haven't seen Avatar, and I haven't seen hoppers, so I don't think I have any skin in this game. I've ridden the closest exposure I've had to Avatar is riding the Avatar Flight of Passage attraction at Animal Kingdom in Disney World, which is an incredible ride. Arguably the best thing that Disney, well, yeah, it's arguably the best thing they've ever made. I don't know if it is the best, but it is among the most technologically impressive feats of engineering that I've seen them create at one of their theme parks. But I've not seen the movie, and I don't really. I mean, I probably will one day, just because it's kind of a very hugely significant piece of popular culture. But I don't have any real desire to see it. Even when Top Gun Maverick came out in 2022, I watched the original Top Gun in preparation. Although that was mainly just because that year for Mother's Day, my mom said, "I don't want anything for Mother's Day. I just want you to sit down and watch Top Gun with me," because that's like one of her favorite movies of all time. So that contributed to it. But I would have probably done it anyway before going to see Top Gun Maverick. Whereas I did not really feel like when Avatar: The Way of Water came out, I didn't really feel the desire to see it or go back and watch the original Avatar. I'm just like, this doesn't interest me. I don't know. And the main thing I hear from people about Avatar is that it's the movie that everybody saw about characters nobody remembers. That the story is really, like, it's a very stylistic and visually enchanting movie, but not one that is in any way memorable for its story or characters, which, yeah, I can see that. I can very easily see that being the case. Can't speak to it myself because I haven't seen it, but I don't know. You're always confused between Cameron Avatar, Last Airbender Avatar. Okay, so for clarification, I'm talking about Blue People Avatar, the James Cameron Avatar. The TV show Avatar: The Last Airbender, I have seen, and that's a great show. That is an incredible animated series that I would recommend you all see if by some miracle you haven't seen it yet. Although, I mean, I hadn't seen it until a couple years ago, so I guess there's always a chance. But yes, that, I am not referring to the TV show, I am referring to Blue People, James Cameron, big IMAX 3D woo-hoo movie. I forgot about this. Thoughts on the Mario Galaxy movie trailer. You know, I probably should have watched the trailer before the stream because I knew this would come up at some point, but I just haven't seen it. I just don't really care. I'm sure that the trailer is gonna play before Zootopia 2 next week, so I'll see it then. But I don't really care enough to watch it of my own volition. It just, well, I don't know. I do know that Brie Larson is Rosalina, which, when I first heard that, let me give you the exact train of thought of what happened when I heard that. My guttural immediate reaction was, what? And then I thought about it for 2 seconds, and I thought, oh, you know, actually, and then 2 seconds later I thought, okay, actually I see the vision. It took me a couple seconds, because, you know, most people, when they think of Brie Larson, they think of Captain Marvel, which is kind of a shame, honestly, because she is a really, really talented actress, and if you don't believe me, you should watch a movie called Room. Not The Room, not Tommy Wiseau's The Room, but Room. One word, Room, released in, I think, 2015. That's an incredible movie, and her acting is one of the strongest parts of it. So it's kind of a shame that she's primarily known now for a blank slate piece of cardboard that is Captain Marvel. But yeah, that was my thought process. But beyond that, I don't know anything about it. I have not seen the trailer. From what you heard, Brie Larson's actually a Nintendo fan. Yeah, I saw the video of her filming herself in Super Nintendo World back in May. saying like, and she recorded it far away from anybody else, so no one could hear her. She's just like preparing in advance for the announcement that she was going to be playing Rosalina. So apparently, I think I saw a tweet from like years ago saying that her boyfriend said she was taking Mario Galaxy too seriously, so she dumped him, which I like the idea that Nintendo saw that tweet and was just like, Eureka, we found it, we found our Rosalina, before they even had any plans of making the... Actually, I don't know how long the original Mario movie was in development for compared to when that tweet was made, but I don't know, it's just a funny thought to me. It's a really funny thought. You'll only be able to be here for 10 more minutes because of an exam. You hate tests, you suck at them, and don't reflect what you actually learned. You reflect your state as you take them. I don't necessarily... I can't really comment on this because I've never really had much resistance with tests, but I do know some incredibly smart and capable people who have just never been good test takers. Like there was a difference between knowing something and being able to figure things out and taking tests. They are different things, and one is not necessarily indicative of the other, which is unfortunate. But I do wish you the best of luck on your exam. I'm glad those days are behind me. I'll just say this much. I'm glad the days of test. There was one day in high school, I swear to God, there was one day during high school where we had a test for every single class, every single period of the day, including lunch. We had a test. That is not a joke, I swear to you. Every single one. There was either a pop quiz or a test or something. It was ridiculous. I was white by the end of the day. I couldn't believe it. What am I playing this game on? I am playing this game on PC, which, if you can, is the only way you should play this game. Because, and I say this as someone who spent the first, like, 16 or 17 years of his life exclusively playing this game on Xbox, because it was all I had access to. The PC version is very, very easily the definitive way to experience this game. It runs the best, it looks the best, it just generally plays the best. Oh, I might have boned myself here. Nope, we're fine. Have I heard that Benny Safdie is playing Bowser Jr.? I don't know who that is, so no. I knew about Brie Larson, but that is news to me. Do I plan on trying out a recent Telltale successor, Dispatch? I have heard about it. I know people seem to really like it. It is not something that really interests me, but it is cool that Aaron Paul is in it, and that's neat. I like Aaron Paul. But as far as playing it myself, no current plans to do so. I say no current plans because you never know what will happen in the future. Maybe I'll change my mind, maybe it'll go on sale or something, but right now it's not something that I'm currently actively interested in checking out for myself. I knew it was only a matter of time. Thoughts on the teaser on Moana and Toy Story 5. Okay, so Moana looks exactly as shit as I expected it to look, and if you thought it was going to look anything different, I feel sorry for you, because it looks exactly the same as every other Disney live-action remake. It looks like shit, it sounds like shit. They've removed all the color, it desaturated to high hell because colors are unrealistic and beautiful skies are unrealistic. The music sounds horribly overproduced and horribly auto-tuned, and the notes are all wrong, and the CGI creatures, hey, looks fucking hideous. I can't say I'm even angry or disappointed because it looks exactly like what I expected it to look like. I don't know why I would have expected it to look like anything else, honestly. Even so, the compliment I would have had for the Moana remake based on that one leaked set picture is that at least her dress and her hair looked correct, which are two things that Disney live-action remakes have historically and notoriously struggled with, is actually getting the costuming and general, I bumped the mic there for a second, aesthetics of the princesses correct. But the dress still looks good, but the problem is now that we can actually see the actress in full, so the actress's hair is naturally really curly, like Moana's is, but they straightened her hair for the teaser, for the movie. And I'm just like, why? Why did you do that? Moana doesn't, she has, why would you, I'm not gonna see, who fucking cares? It's the Moana live action, I'm not gonna see this fucking movie. Who cares? Who actually cares? There are so many better things I can do with my time than watch the Moana live action remake. Whatever. As for the Toy Story 5 teaser, I don't know. It is 50 seconds of pure nothing, and I don't know why. I got pinged to high hell when that trailer dropped, and it was like, oh my god, did you see it? Did you see it? Did you? What did you think about the Toy Story? There's nothing. It's literally nothing. It's just it is clearly designed to be a teaser that is just they threw it together in a wow, that was bad. They threw it together in a week so that they would have something to show in front of the Zootopia 2 in front of Zootopia 2 next week. That's it. It's just, hey, we need something to play for people so that people who aren't terminally online know that Toy Story 5 is even happening, because really the only way you'd even know that Toy Story 5 is happening at all is if you follow D23, which most people don't, or if you just voraciously devour Pixar news online, which again, most people don't. It's kind of the same thing with the Incredibles 2 teaser, where as a trailer, that teaser is not very exciting, it's kind of unremarkable, it's just like Jack pops out of the wall and creates the Incredibles 2 logo. But if you had no idea that Incredibles 2 was happening, it's kind of cool. Now, I wouldn't say the same thing applies to the Toy Story 5 teaser, because nothing fucking happens in the Toy Story 5 teaser, but that's the idea, that's the general vibe they're going for, is just letting people know that the movie is coming out, and that's really all it is / needs to be, because there's nothing, like, if you don't know about the movie, it's like, oh my god, there's a new tablet? What's this? This is interesting. Oh my god, Woody's back in the room. That's crazy, dude. But, I mean, I'm just like, first time, like, you're all late to the game. We've been following all this information for years at this point. February 2023 was when Toy Story 5 first got announced. And we've known about the iPad for the last year, we've known about Woody's return for the last year, technically 2 years, since Tim Allen said when the Toy Story 5 was announced, see you soon, Woody. So, I have no thoughts on the Toy Story 5. The biggest piece of information we got from it is the fact that they didn't forget about the knife, which we weren't exactly, we didn't know if they would or not. It was about a 50-50 shot whether they would remember that the knife existed, and we've now confirmed that they did in fact remember the knife existed. That, and also, Bonnie seems to have a pet because there's a tank on the back shelf that has the name Sammy on it, which some people suspect means that Bonnie has a sibling, which, while that might still be true, I don't think that's proof that she does. That specific piece of evidence, I don't think it's proof that she does, because, like, I don't know why they would put the sibling's name on the tank. That seems more like, hey, we're gonna put the name of my pet on said pet's tank, because that just makes sense, that follows logically. But we'll see. We will see. Gotta love the Woody coming back wasn't even a big reveal or something, he's just there like he never left. So here's the thing, I don't, while it is fucking hilarious that they put that in the teaser, because for the same reasons I just went over about how if you don't keep up with news, you may not even have any idea that Toy Story 5 is happening at all. If this is your first piece, if this is your first tango with Toy Story 5's existence, and all you know is that at the end of Toy Story 4, Woody said "fuck y'all" and left, how funny would it be to just have him be there as if nothing even happened? That's so funny. That's actually so funny. But I don't think that's going to be what I think that they only put him in the trailer just to communicate to people that Woody is going to be in the next movie. I do not think that they actually have intentions of literally just resetting the board and pretending Toy Story 4 never happened at all. Because they've said elsewhere that the whole reason Woody comes back in the first... Like, Woody... It's not... The timeline of events is not that Woody... Oh, shit. Well, it was nice knowing you. The timeline of events is not that Woody comes back and then all of a sudden the lily pad appears. It's the other way around. It's... If what has been said about the movie in press events is to be believed, the timeline of events is Lilypad shows up, Jessie freaks out and then calls Woody back because she needs help, because apparently Jessie just can't solve things for herself. She needs Woody to do everything for her, which is cool. And I can't wait to see that be... Yeah. But, so I don't think it's going to be that clean cut. I think that's literally just a case of we want to tell general audiences that Woody is in fact going to be in this movie. And that's literally the only reason why they put him in there. But like, cool if it would have been for them to completely mask Woody from the trailers at all and have it be like some big moment where he comes back in the end, or at some point in the movie. Like, I don't think they ever could have gotten away with that, because Woody and Buzz are too intrinsically tied to the Toy Story brand that if you marketed a Toy Story movie without Woody, I don't know how successful it would have been if you only... I don't know. I don't see that going over well, broadly speaking. Might not be here for the whole live stream. That's fine. That's fair. Like, that's why I usually stream on weekends, because I know that whether it be for work purposes or school purposes, more people can come show up on streams for weekends than weekdays. So, it just makes more sense to stream on the weekend for me. But, you know, I always make an exception for Dragons of 3D, because it is a game worth making an exception for. So, I appreciate anyone who can stay for the whole thing, anyone who stops by at all. I'm glad you decided to take some time out of your day to come hang out for a bit. But I also understand that life happens and life obligations get in the way. So, do not worry. I appreciate that you stopped by at all. I hope and I wish you luck with your classes and your exams and all that stuff. I was waiting for this question. Thoughts on the Game Awards nominee for Best Adaptation? It's embarrassing. Possibly the worst iteration of that list the category has ever seen. You nominated the Until Dawn adaptation, in massive air quotes, and the Minecraft movie. Sorry, a Minecraft movie, but not Sonic the Hedgehog 3. That is... It would be funny if it weren't so... I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. That's so bad. That's so bad. It's fine. It's fine. Your brain broke when Until Dawn was nominated. And it's not even Sonic 3 that got snubbed. I saw some people talking about a Twisted Metal TV show, which I don't know anything about. But that was another one that I saw people saying that should have been nominated instead of... surely anything would be better than a Minecraft movie and Until Dawn. It has nothing at all to do with the game. Like, literally nothing. It is entirely divorced from the original source material. And Last of Us Season 2... I mean, well... So... Yeah, yes. The reason I'm hesitating is because, technically speaking, of everything on that list, I'm pretty sure Last of Us Season 2 has the highest production value. Like, technically speaking, it's the best made piece of media from a purely technical perspective. And also, I would say that there are, like, it does do some things better than the game, but it also does some things worse. But, like, the truly mind-blowingly awful things about Last of Us 2 aren't going to happen until Season 3, because, as we may recall, Last of Us Season 2 just cuts the game's story in half, which is going to make for a really funny Season 3, considering what the bulk of considering what happens in the vast majority of the second half of Last of Us 2. I can't wait to see how people react to finding out that Season 3 is all about oops, cannot wait to see how that goes over with people. But yeah, it's just give it to The Last of Us and then we can move on already. Isn't Sonic 3 2024 though, considering this 2025 awards? So the thing there is that the Game Awards happened last year before Sonic 3 came out, and there is a cutoff. I don't know exactly when the cutoff is. It's either I think it's November or something, because obviously the nominees happened this week, so it wouldn't be fair to lump something like Sonic 3 under the category or under last year's awards when it could never have been nominated because it didn't come out until after the Game Awards. And so for that reason, there are other things at this year's Game Awards that came out last December. Alien Rogue Incursion came out last December. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle came out last December. But both of them were nominated for Game Awards this year, for this year's ceremony. Which means that while you could have made that argument in their absence, because they were nominated, they lose the ability to hide behind the defense of, well, Sonic 3 was a 2024 movie, so technically it's not eligible for... No. You wouldn't have nominated Indiana Jones and the Great Circle and Alien Rogue Incursion. No. Simply no. Oh, also, Split Fiction not being nominated for Game of the Year is... Okay, sure. The final hour of that game alone should have been enough to warrant a Game of the Year nomination. I do not, and I don't even, like, I wouldn't even say that Split Fiction is better than It Takes Two, but it still deserves a nomination, that's for damn sure. That's unbelievable. You've heard the GameCube version is asked of this? Oh yeah. Speaking from, so, here's my experience with the GameCube version of this game. My friends surprised me one day for the 10th, I think it was for my 10K subscriber, like, to celebrate the fact that I reached 10K subscribers. They were like, hey, we're gonna play your favorite game, and I'm like, oh, that's so sweet that you did that. But the only version any of them could access was the GameCube version. And so they encountered a lot of problems that, to me, didn't make any sense. Like, what do you mean this shouldn't be happening? I've played this game since I was barely walking, this has never happened to me. I don't understand the things that you're saying. And it turned out the reason why I didn't understand the things they were saying is because the GameCube version is essentially... Well, okay. I can't say it's essentially like playing a different game, but there are a select number of extremely fundamental changes to the game's mechanics and controls and all that stuff that make it play worse, and it also runs much worse, and overall it's like easily the worst way to experience the game. So, but I didn't know that at the time, so eventually I was like, okay, let me play the GameCube version myself and figure out what's going on here. And it turns out, no, it wasn't their problem. It was in fact the game. It was just the GameCube port being horrible. Which is a shame, because like the version of the game most people will be able to play is the GameCube version, and it's the worst way to experience it, which sucks. Do I appreciate Until Dawn's remake or adaptation more? Well, I should say first of all that I haven't seen the movie. I just know things about it. Maybe I will watch it just so I can like have proper arguments against it, having seen it myself, instead of just saying like, well, I haven't seen it, but, and that kind of stuff. So, yeah, while I haven't seen the movie, I suppose I would technically have to say that I appreciate the remake more, just because if you've never played the original game, it's still, broadly speaking, the story is intact. Like if you play the original game, then obviously you'd be like, no, this is wrong, that's wrong, this is worse. But it's still technically the same story, just with a lot of specific, really critical things changed. Whereas the Until Dawn adaptation film doesn't even fucking try. It has literally nothing to do with the game at all. It's an original story, original characters, but still has the balls to use the Until Dawn namesake for brand recognition's sake. And that gets under my skin way more, is when you like, if you want to tell an original story, go for it, go nuts. I encourage people to shoot their shot, be experimental, try their own thing. You know, if it doesn't work, oh well, at least you can say that you tried and you didn't just settle for the same old tired, generic algebraic formula again. What I do not respect is when you do that, but you do it under the guise of something else. Like, you try to say, this is an Until Dawn adaptation, and in fact it's just your own original fan fiction that has nothing to do with anything. That shit pisses me off, when you try to use the success of a far better IP to give yourself a boost. That really gets under my skin when people do that. So I guess, technically speaking, I have to say that and the other thing is that, like, even if it is an inferior version of the game, by almost any measurable metric, at least it allows people to experience the story, even if it is a worse version of the story, on platforms other than PS4, because previously it was a PlayStation exclusive, but now it's available on PC, so at least it's that. At least it has that going for it. We have to split hairs here. Have I seen Amazing Digital Circus? Yes, Amazing Digital Circus is a very, very good animated indie show that you should all go check out. It's available for free on YouTube, so you kind of don't have an excuse. Go watch it. It's great. Highly recommend. Although I do wish that they leaned more into the psychological horror present in the first episode. Because even though the show is very funny and I really like what the show is, I see a lot of untapped potential in that show based on what it did in the pilot, and I wish they did more of that stuff. SpongeBob Titans the Tide released today. Yeah, I forgot about that. That's I've been so head down, knee deep in Toy Story 1 stuff. That just completely slipped my mind. But yeah, that is a thing that's happening today. I haven't even played the demo of it. I'll probably get around to it at some point. December is gonna be my month to just relax. Because, like, I took a break after the Toy Story 3 video. Or series, rather. But it wasn't a long... Like, within half a month, I was still back and ready to make stuff again. But after my Toy Story 1 video is in my rearview mirror, I think I'm gonna take a much more extended, like, month or 2 months over the winter break to just unwind and recharge. So, and that'll be a good time for me to catch up on a lot of things, movies, shows, games, all that stuff. Or I won't do that and I'll still work on stuff in the background, like maybe I'll iron out my Halo Infinite script. Because and obviously I still have to get the Sonic Triple feature out the door, but that's not as labor intensive on my end as the stuff that I mainly do, the love letters and the critiques and all that stuff. You think the psychological horror type of stuff is going to come back in the last episodes? That's what I'm hoping to. I'm hoping that in these last few episodes we get to see more of that, because it seemed clear to me that was going to be a core element of the show, or at least a significant element in some capacity, and we just haven't seen much of it yet. But I am optimistically hoping that we will see more of it again in the final few. Because we're in the home stretch now. It's the final, like, what, 3 or 4 episodes, I think? That's why you don't watch the Game Awards. Oh, I mean, we watch it to make fun of it. That's honestly the highlight. One of the highlights of the year is when we all get around, we join up, we get on group call, and we just make fun of the Game Awards together. I mean, last year's show was actually pretty decent. It was a noticeable improvement over the last couple, which were just horrible. Or at least like, in a funny way, obviously. But yeah, we find a lot of humor in watching the Game Awards every year. It's a nice yearly holiday tradition. Planning on getting Titans of the Tide today, hopefully. Hopefully you enjoy it. Oh, any thoughts on Search for SquarePants before it comes out next month? Every time I see that trailer, I want to watch it less. It just does not interest me at all. But, I mean, that's been the case with SpongeBob for a while now. I just don't really care much for modern... I know how much of a buzzword this is and how much you might be sick of hearing YouTubers say this, but I just don't care for modern SpongeBob. And not even to say that I hate it, because sometimes SpongeBob will be on, like if I'm in a hotel room or something and I'm looking for something to put on the TV. If Nickelodeon is on or if SpongeBob is on Nickelodeon, sometimes I'll just put it on, just to have something that I recognize to watch. And, you know, if it's a modern episode, sometimes I'll like it, sometimes I won't. It's not like... It's not a definitive breaking point of after this point I stop enjoying it. There is occasional episodes in the post-season 4 era that I do enjoy watching, but it's just, consistently from seasons 1 through 4, I could rely on the show as something that I could turn on and enjoy and laugh at and feel something about. I just don't really care much for most of what came afterwards. It's just, it clearly shifted its demographic. I think inarguably shifted its demographic. Like, even if you still like what SpongeBob is, I think it's, I would at least, can we at least acknowledge that what SpongeBob is currently is not the same thing that it was when it started? And I just don't really care much for what it's become. And that applies to the movies, to the show. Even the game, like, I like Cosmic Shake, but I like it in spite of the modern writing. Like, it's clearly evoking the style and vibe of the more recent episodes, more so than the classic ones, which I think made Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated stand out really in a really interesting way, because it is a remake of a game that came out in 2003, which was very much inspired by and basing itself off of the original run of SpongeBob, because that was the era that it had originally been developed in. So to have a game sound like that, with that level, that writing and those performances and that dialogue, stands out pretty starkly compared to what people had come to expect from SpongeBob of that time period. So yeah, I'm probably not going to see the new SpongeBob movie. We should normalize learning to let go of favorite things in media once they become nothing like what you remember. Yeah, like you aren't obligated to stick with something forever. And this is why I almost feel kind of weird calling myself a SpongeBob fan, because it's like, what I enjoy from the show is such a small percentage of what it is. Like, there's so many spin-offs, there's so many games, there's so many movies, there's so many seasons. What are we on now, like season 14? How many seasons of that show even are there at this point? I don't even know. But I really only like the first 4 seasons, and the first movie, and a couple of the games. And there's just so much more to it. So, like, when I say that I am a SpongeBob fan, and SpongeBob SquarePants is a show that I love a lot, I don't even know if it's, like, intellectually honest of me to say that, because it really, like, if I only, like, I guess, to scale it down, if I only watched one season of or if I only liked one season of The Owl House, and I fucking hated, or at least didn't care for the rest of it, would it really be fair for me to say that it's one of my favorite things ever? I don't know that it would. So if you scale that upward to, I only really love 4 seasons of SpongeBob and the other, like, 12 or however they're, oh, season 15, okay, season 16 and 17, okay. So, yeah, a lot, like, if I only like the first 4, and then the remaining 12, I don't care for, I don't know if it's entirely accurate for me to say, like, I just don't, that I really love the show as a whole. So, I don't know, it's tricky when you're in situations like that. Season 16 does have pretty great episodes, though. See, that's what I mean. Like, there are episodes of the modern era that I can still put on and enjoy. Not even, like, actively going on my way to find them or anything. I just mean, if it's on TV, there's a 50-50 chance I'll either really like it or not care much for it. I don't think there's anything in the recent episodes that I, like, outwardly hate, except there are times where I remember I think it was for the Toy Story 3 series, that I was trying to find a specific clip from an episode of SpongeBob, and I didn't know. Oh, I think I was trying to find, like, the Geometry Dash parody. I think that's what I was looking for, because I needed that for something. And while I was scrubbing through the episode that came from, to find it, I saw kind of the way the show looks now. And I know it gets talked about to death, but I really don't care much for how over-animated and over-exaggerated a lot of the characters' faces look. I don't know, it's, I find it kind of unpleasant to look at, if I'm being honest. But apart from that, like, writing-wise, it's nothing that I actively despise about the new episodes. It just doesn't really appeal to me, broadly speaking. But there are still times where I'll watch an episode and be like, that was pretty good. I like that one. Oh, but the Patrick Star game, fucking garbage. Never play it. That's one thing that, like, I actually hate that's come out of Modern SpongeBob. That game is horrible. It might be one of the most broken things I've ever played in my life, honestly. It's... oh boy. What a disaster that game was. Am I familiar with Idiot Box's sequel episode, Squidiot Box? Oh, okay. Is that the one where they retcon it so that the box wasn't just a normal cardboard box that they used their imaginations to play in, but that it is actually some magical entity that grants you enhanced fantastical abilities or something? I think I remember seeing a clip like that where they changed, because the whole point of that episode, like, Squidward thinks that the box is some special thing that grants SpongeBob and Patrick unique abilities, but it's not. It's literally just a cardboard box, and that's the whole point. That what Squidward doesn't understand, at least in the beginning, like, he learns it eventually, or at least he thinks he learns it eventually, because he gets in the box, and then, of course, gets taken away to the dump, and he thinks he's experiencing these fantastical things that SpongeBob and Patrick are. But, like, he thinks it is magical. He doesn't understand that it's just SpongeBob and Patrick being creative and imaginative, and that's where all the fun comes from. That was the whole point of it. And it encouraged kids to be like, hey, you don't need fancy things. You don't need this giant, expensive TV. You just need you and your brain to have fun with things. So to retcon that and make it, canonize it to be an actually magical thing, not a fan. Didn't like that. No thanks. So I guess that would also be an example of something that I kind of hate about the more recent episodes. So something writing-wise that they've done that I do not at all care for. But, yeah, broadly speaking, I'm not like anti-modern SpongeBob. I've moved on, I guess. But I still check in every now and again. Which I guess is contradictory. Like, if I actually moved on, I wouldn't be checking in every now and again. But you know what I mean, right? I'm not actively keeping up with the episodes. I'm not actively keeping up with when the new season is dropping or anything. But I still have enough of an interest in SpongeBob to want to see how things are going. If that makes sense. I don't know. I'm just kind of spitting out my ass at this point. Time for the annual Dragon's Lair stream. Indeed. The one stream... oh, sorry, no, two. There's 2 streams every year that you can always look for, guaranteed that I will commit to on my channels. One for the second channel, and one for the main channel. The main channel stream you can always count on is the Game Awards stream, and the second channel stream you can always count on is Dragon's Lair 3. Even if I never stream anything the rest of the year, I hope that at least for the foreseeable future, that I will never miss the annual Dragon's Lair 3D stream. That's something I hope I can keep going for as long as I'm still around. You're planning on seeing Search Square Parents? Hope it's good. I mean, I hope it's good too. It could, if everyone sees it, because this happened with The Last Wish in 2022. Is I had no plans on seeing it, and then everybody saw it, and everybody said, "Oh my god, it's the greatest thing ever! You gotta see it." And that doesn't automatically mean I'm going to see it, right? Because the same thing happened with K-pop Demon Hunters, but I can tell you right now, from just looking at, from the clips I've seen, I can tell you right away that if I watched that movie, I probably would not enjoy it, and it would not be beneficial to anybody for me to watch it, so I'm just not going to bother. But it does at least get me to pay more attention to whatever is currently generating a lot of hype. And so in the case of Last Wish, it did make me be like, hey, maybe there's something interesting about this. Maybe I should check it out for myself. So if that happens with the new SpongeBob movie and everyone's like, guys, you gotta believe me, this is like actually really good, then maybe. But right now I have no plans to check it out. Have you seen the video where Nathaniel Bandy ranked every single episode of SpongeBob? No, I have not. I have not seen that video. Do I often revisit the Zero Escape duology? You think it was a fun experience to play and watch through, so you're kind of interested to hear my opinion? No, I do not revisit it. The only visual novel series that I actually revisit on a semi-regular basis is Ace Attorney. Which, thankfully, I can now do for more than just the original trilogy, because the Investigations duology and the Apollo Justice trilogy have all been ported to modern consoles, which I'm very, very happy about.
The dragon spirit.
But, like, I don't revisit Zero Escape, really. I revisited it
Your health.
2 years ago when it came to Xbox, just for the achievements, because the Nonary games came to Game Pass, so I downloaded it and then just played through it for achievement's sake. But I don't really consistently revisit that series, no. But I did enjoy... It's kind of weird to say this because of how Zero Time Dilemma went, but I did overall enjoy my time with the Zero Escape series. First 2 games are really solid.
The drawbridge.
I like them a lot.
But how do you
It's just such a fucking shame the 3rd game is such a catastrophic disaster. Because that really could have been something special if they stuck the landing. Sadly, they could not, and that is a shame. I hate when endings mean a whole lot to me, so if you can't stick it, even if I mean, it's funny, the Duffer Brothers even said this recently in regards to Stranger Things, which, if you don't know, its final season is starting next week. Holy shit, we're almost there. They said that they spent forever writing the final 20 or 30 minutes of the series finale, because they knew that if they didn't get that right, if they didn't nail the actual ending of the show, nothing else they did before that point would matter. It literally wouldn't matter how good the rest of it was. If they fumbled at the finish line, it would retroactively poison everything that came before, which is true. That's completely correct, and I'm glad to see they have that principle and they have that mindset, because so many times there's just, you have such a great thing going and then you completely fumble it at the end with the ending, which sucks. I hate it when that happens to shows or just any kind of long-running series. Will I 100% Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels? No. No, I will not. I think that would be a horrible idea. It's my opinion on How to Train Your Dragon. I think the first movie is one of DreamWorks' best. I need to rewatch 2 and 3, but the original How to Train Your Dragon, one of DreamWorks' best movies. Did I hear about the update to the original trilogy? Yeah, I did, and I'm glad they're finally retrofitting it to get it up to speed with the rest of the series, because it was fine for what it was when it came out, but seeing how much better all the other collections are really makes the original trilogy stand out as far as how lacking it is from a feature perspective.
The flame arrow.
Favorite Mario character is Captain Toad, baby. Always been a huge Captain Toad stan. We will forever defend Captain Toad. He is the best. Oops. He is the best around. No one's ever gonna keep him down. You miss the pixelated DS look of the original Ace Attorney games. I guess I can't miss something I never had. Like, I never played... The only Ace Attorney game I played on DS/3DS, I played Investigations 2 with that pixelated format, and then I played the Phoenix Wright Professor Layton crossover on 3DS, but I mean, that doesn't really look pixelated because it has all the 3D models, but Investigations 2 is the only game I played that really looked like that. My first experience with all the games was with the more HD textures for the original trilogy, of course, on the Switch, and then I played the Investigations on mobile, and I played Apollo Justice, Dual Destinies, and Spirit of Justice on mobile, so I never had that. I can't miss what I never had. But but I can understand how one would miss that if that's how you grew up playing the games. Have I seen the live-action How to Train Your Dragon movie? Fuck no. So many better ways I can use my time than seeing a worse version of an animated movie. Like, and I don't... People say that this one's actually good, though, we promise. But even if that's true, even if I believe that it is a well-made movie on its own merits, which I don't, but for the sake of argument, I'll believe that it is, I don't really care, because it's just a shameless, soulless remake of something that's already existed for 15 years in an animated medium, and the more these live-action remakes continue to succeed, the more it continues to delegitimize the inherent value of animation as a respectable medium of storytelling, because it implies, like, the guy even said, I'm pretty sure the director even said, like, we use the animated movie as a blueprint, essentially, for the story. It's like, go fuck yourself. Why would you say that? Why? Oh, it's a blueprint. Yeah, it's just a fake, baby, silly movie that no one cares about. Right. Now, the real, actual, true, legitimate adult movie, those only exist in live action. Animation, that doesn't count. That's just for silly babies. I hate that he said that. That is fucking horrible. That legitimately pissed me off when I heard him say that. That's, way to just completely devalue an entire medium of storytelling. That's why I don't care, like, even if it's well made, objectively speaking, I really don't care. I do not, whatever, it's never gonna happen because they're gonna keep making bank and milking your nostalgia for all it's worth. But I really wish that these remakes would just fucking die already. I'm so bored of it. It is that's what I'm, like, I genuinely believe that these remakes are just inherently worthless, because they're not contributing anything meaningfully new to the medium of filmmaking. It's literally just a beat-for-beat retread of something that's already existed for 15 years. And there was nothing wrong with it. There's nothing, like, you should be remaking movies that actually deserve a remake. You should be remaking movies that had good potential, good ideas, but that never found their footing because of whatever reasons, like the production troubles, whatever the case may be. Give them another chance. If there's a good idea there, but they had poor execution, give the movie another chance. Help it find new life somewhere else. Don't take near perfect movies like How to Train Your Dragon and just copy them beat for beat. What is the appeal? What is the appeal of watching the same movie again, but longer, slower, more drawn out, and worse, when you can just watch the original at home right now? I hate it. I hate it so much. Like, there's... Because two things happen, right? You either get the Lilo and Stitch... It really is funny how Lilo and Stitch and How to Train Your Dragon came out pretty close to each other this year, because I think they're perfectly representative of the two types of remakes, of, like, live-action remakes of animated classics. Because there really are only two types. You either get the Lilo and Stitch type, where they proceed to show no care whatsoever for maintaining the integrity of the original creation. And they just say, fuck you, our version is better. Realistic storytelling. It's not realistic for Nani to stay in Hawaii with Lilo. That's unrealistic. What's realistic is wanting her to study marine biology. Marine biology! And so sending her to school in California instead of staying in Hawaii to study marine biology! Because we're really smart, that's realism. That's realistic right there, is leaving the place with some of the best marine biology programs, if not the world, then at least the country, to fly to a different landmass, and leaving your tiny, like, 6-year-old sister. I fucking hate the Lilo and Stitch remake so much. I didn't even watch it for the first time until last year, and that pissed me off so bad. Anyway, that's type 1, is when they just steamroll over the original creation with no care whatsoever for maintaining the original vision or intent. And then the other version, the other type, is the How to Train Your Dragon remake, where they change basically nothing, except for small things that, like, stick out to someone who's seen the original but probably wouldn't mean much to someone who hasn't. Just, like, little things. It's the same scene, but it takes longer, or they change this minor thing, but generally speaking, the story is still the same, and the original themes and messaging and character arcs are all intact. But the problem there is that then there is no reason to watch it. There's no reason. There is no reason to, if you're just gonna do the exact same thing that they did 15 years ago, why would I watch it? Why would I even bother giving this the time of day if you're not going to do anything meaningful to change it? So, but then you go back to Lilo and Stitch. Well, we meaningfully changed it. Yeah, you changed it by completely fucking over the original story. At that point, why even make it a Lilo and Stitch remake if you're not going to bother to remake it consistent with what it originally did? Oh, I know why. Because then you wouldn't be able to get the money from the brand recognition of Lilo and Stitch. You know, I didn't mean to go off on Lilo and Stitch, or just remakes in general today, but man, apparently I had a lot to say. Sorry about the rant. I guess I just needed to get that off my chest, because I think the Moana remake trailer just set me off, even though it's exactly the same as all the others. Nothing different, it's the same sins, it's the same everything, but I don't know, it just set me off, I guess. I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of doing the same song and dance every couple months. I'm so over it. Do something original, I beg you. Not like the Lilo and Stitch remake, because that sucked. Anyway, how are y'all doing? How are y'all doing? Having a good day? Having a nice time with the stream? Hopefully. Hopefully things are better. Hopefully you found more things to entertain yourself with than fucking live-action remakes. God-awful, piss-ugly live-action remakes. But it's okay because Nani has the portal gun. Oh yeah, true. It's that's, again, in our efforts to make the movie more realistic, we gave her a fucking portal gun! That's realism right there. Is the ability to just travel across the ocean with a single... It's fine. It's fine. Like, why would you say... Like, whatever your reason was, clearly it wasn't realism. Or if you think it was realism, like, if you truly believed that you were doing a more realistic version of the story, I kind of pity you, because nothing about it was real. Like, it is just objectively stupid to study marine biology in California when you can do it in Hawaii. Also, someone fact check me on this, but don't you get college tuition for free, or at least at a significantly reduced price if you live in, like, if you go to college in Hawaii and you're native there and you live there, don't you get either a huge discount or completely for free? I swear that's a thing. So again, someone fact check me on this. I don't want to. The last thing I'd want to do is spread misinformation. But if that is true, that just makes it even worse, as far from the realism angle. But if you are going to use the realism angle, don't then give her a fucking portal gun. That's just silly. That's so silly. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why would you just shoot yourself in the foot like that? That's so silly. Oh my god. Anyway, has Dial of Destiny dethroned Toy Story 4 as my all-time worst movie? So truly, I don't know what would be my all-time worst. Like, I say this a lot, but I really don't know what those lists would look like if I were to remake them today. I have not, because there's no point in time where those lists would be accurate, because I'm always watching new things, playing new things, experiencing new things, so there's no way for it to ever be completely representative of what my favorites and least favorites are. But, to answer your specific example, Dial of Destiny is much, much worse than Toy Story 4. It's honestly not even close. Dial of Destiny is such a boring slog of a movie. And at least Toy Story 4 works to earn its horrible character assassination. Like, it spends the... Well, not for Buzz, but for Woody, it spends the movie trying to get him to that point. Even if he would never do it, it at least works to get that. But Dial of Destiny just opens up and it says, fuck you, everything's shit now. Mutt died off-screen, Indian Marion broke off off-screen. Really just, generally speaking, everything sucks. That's the moral of the story, is everything just sucks. And they do that so that at the end of the movie they can be like, see, everything's happy now. Even though everything was also happy at the end of the last movie, you know, we changed it. We made everything shit so that it feels like our payoff is actually earned, even though it's not. Which is something that Now You See Me, Now You Don't also did, but we don't need to rant about that today. We don't need to rant about, no, you see me, no, you don't. It's fine. We don't need to get into that today. That's alright. Yeah, Dial. Also, Toy Story 4 is a visually beautiful movie. Dial of Destiny is just ugly. It's so ugly. It's genuinely, the original trilogy of Indiana Jones movies are some of the most beautifully shot films I've ever seen. They're so gorgeous. And Dial of Destiny is just piss ugly the whole time. It's awful. Genuinely just awful. I hate it so much. Oh, and also time travel. Did I mention the time travel? Because time travel. That's also a point against Dial of Destiny when comparing to Toy Story 4.
Dirk, I hear the Lizard King, but I can't see where he is.
When will I finish Mario Galaxy 2 / when will I stream the Green Stars finale? I will hello, how you doing? I will stream it next weekend after the Toy Story 1 Love Letter is done. Regardless of whether it comes out on Saturday or if it gets delayed for copyright, because again, no matter what, it'll be done by Saturday. I can guarantee you with absolute 100% confidence it will be done by Saturday, to the point where if I emailed you the video file, I would have a completed video file to email you to watch. I wouldn't do that, obviously, but I could. My point is that there would be something tangible that you could watch. It's just a matter of whether it gets through copyright or not. But regardless of whether it does get through copyright or not, the bulk of my work will still be, like, I will have no more work left to do because I will have already made it. It will be in YouTube's hands at that point. So once that's done, I'll stream Galaxy 2. And I'll finish that up. Oh, why did I do not know what happened there. I knew that was a trick door. I don't know what the hell was wrong with my brain there. Thoughts on Has-Been Season 2. I love Has-Been Hotel Season 2. It is genuinely the last 2 months have been so stressful for so many reasons, just in my personal life and also just getting this Toy Story 1 video out the door. It has been so stressful. It is, watching Has-Been Hotel Season 2 has been like the one light in the darkness. Which is kind of what happened with Season 1 as well. I was going through a really rough patch, mentally speaking, last summer. And I watched the Has-Been Hotel pilot, and it made me laugh when... It made me laugh and smile when nothing else could at that point in my life. So then I watched the full season, and I fell in love with it, and the rest is history. But yeah, I love Season 2 so much. It is clear to me that from production perspective, it is so much more impressive than the first season, to the point where looking back on Season 1 and seeing some of the shot composition, it's like, oh wow, it's almost unrecognizable how much better Season 2 looks than Season 1 does, and they're doing a lot of interesting stuff with the character. Now, I will say, much like with Season 1, though I love it to bits, I can also be harshly critical of it. There are some things that I'm not a fan of as far as how it's structured, much like it was the case with Season 1. But overall, I am very pleased with how things are going. And it's mainly just made me more excited for Season 3, because it seems like Season 2 is mostly setting up for Season 3.
The gold key is yours.
Thoughts on the Has-Been episode Scream Rain? It might be one of my favorites of the show, honestly, because, like, I guess to give you a little bit of detail, the main thing I don't like about Season 2 is the fact that it's mostly the Vox show, which, you know, what they do with Vox is great, but he's not the only character in the show, and it really feels like a lot of other characters are getting shafted so that Vox can shine. But what I love about episode 6 is that it's not really about him at all. It's mainly focused on the cast of the hotel. It's focused on Angel and Husk and Charlie and Baggy and all those people, so that's the main thing that has drawn me to episode 6. That, and also every single song is absolutely lights out amazing. Love in a Bottle, Losing Streak, and Easy. It is a good thing that you can't break digital replay buttons, because if you could, I would have destroyed the replay button for Easy, because Easy is just, it is a scarily addictive song to listen to. It's so, and then combining that with the beautiful colors of the visuals, it's, I adore that song so much. I don't know why I went the long way around, that was silly. Episode 3 is another one of my favorites. Episode 3, I could not control my laughter watching episode 3 of season 2. Oh! Oh yeah! Sure thing! Except you tied me to the fucking tracks! I love Keith David so much. You can just tell the whole cast is having the time of their lives recording this for this show. It's so good. I love it. Do I prefer Kingdom of the Crystal Skull or Dial of Destiny? I prefer Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I mean, it's kind of a trash versus garbage situation, but Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is measurably better than Dial of Destiny. There are things about it that I actually kind of appreciate. There is nothing I appreciate about Dial of Destiny. Nothing. I like Hasman to Tell behind closed doors. Yes, I do. It's, again, like, it's probably one of my favorites of the show to date. Well, at least it's one of the funniest. It's the one, I think, easily it's the one that's made me laugh the most of all the episodes of the show. Alright, should I do this legitimately? You know what, no, I'll do it the cheese way, just because there's always gonna be, excuse me, give me, thank you. There's always a couple people every year that don't know what this game is, so in case you didn't... Oh no. Uh-oh, I think I can't do it. Oh, there he is. Hello. There we are. Yeah, in case you didn't know, if you come to this corner, the AI just completely breaks. I don't know why, but it does. So you can just cheese the fuck out of this boss. Because, in case you didn't know, the way it's supposed to work is that the pot of gold is supposed to occasionally steal your weapons, so you can't actually... Like, you have to... It's a constant tennis match as far as when you're actually able to attack the Lizard King. But something about this corner just breaks the AI. I don't understand why it happens, but it does. All treasures... Yeah. Not to huff the hopium too much, but Half-Life 3's reveal might be today. I hope for your sake that happens, because I, would hate to see people be disappointed, but I, would not get your hopes up. I don't know what I'm not in the Half-Life community, so I don't know what line of logic has led people to believe that it might be revealed today, but, just manage your expectations, I guess. Would be what I say about that. What leads people to believe that it's, one, happening, and two, going to be announced sometime in the near future? Because I'm not up to date with anything Half-Life related. I've never played any of the games. Did I like It's a Deal? Yes. Yeah. That being said, so my experience with It's a Deal was I watched the episode, and I immediately knew, okay, the fandom is going to lose their minds over this episode. I can tell immediately that the fans are going to love it, and it's going to overshadow episode 3. But I still enjoyed watching episode 3 more. Haven't seen the Deadpool movies. Yep, I've seen, FG showed me the first two last summer, because she wanted to go see, Deadpool and Wolverine with me. Vert, how far behind in the stream are you? Well, I mean, not that you'll be able to answer. Oh, wait, actually, I can time it. Hold on. I'll get up a timer. Stopwatch, go. We're gonna see how long it takes, because it seems like Vert is responding to things I said a while ago. So I'm going to start a timer right now, and we're going to see how long it takes until he responds to the question I just asked. I think he's a little bit behind in the stream. I can't prove it yet, but I feel like he's a little behind. Anyway, to answer the question as to what's wrong with Now You See Me, Now You Don't, they basically do the same thing Dial of Destiny did, where between movies 2 and 3, they just say, fuck it, everything's shit now. they invent a bunch of retconny bullshit to make it be like, oh, this major character that you guys really liked, yeah, he's trapped in a Russian prison forever for no reason. Everyone broke up, everyone hates each other, and also all the old characters you like, they all suck, but the new characters, so much better. They're amazing. They can do tricks that the old Horsemen never could have done in a million years, even though the major mind-blowing magic trick that they do at the end of the third movie that the old Horsemen never could have done on their own is literally exactly the same thing that the old Horsemen did in the end of the second movie. Beat for beat. It's exactly the same thing. But then they have the audacity to have them be like, we never could have done this ourselves. You did do it. You literally did do it ourselves. Okay, yeah. Everyone in chat who isn't Avert, look at what Avert's saying. Remember how long ago it was that I said the thing about being able to email the video? Yeah, I think he's a wee bit behind. Because that was like the start of the Lizard King level that I said that. It's okay, Avert. You'll catch up. You'll catch up in due time. I'm keeping a timer so we know how long exactly it's been. Alright, here we go. Your friend told you what happened in Now You See Me 3, asked why they didn't just make it a direct sequel. Well, I assume it's because... So, I would have loved to see what the original Now You See Me 3 was going to be, because they had plans to make Now You See Me 3 ever since 2016, like ever since the second movie came out. It was clearly setting up the story for a third movie, and they said they were going to make a third movie, but then they never did, and it just fell through for years. Like, I waited 9 years, to see a third Now You See Me movie, but I guess because so much time had passed, then they got into a team of new directors, new writers, that they just decided to be like, well, let's treat it like a legacy sequel and do the thing where we jump forward in time and then we examine how things have passed, like treat it as though time progresses in real time alongside the audience and not pick up right where movie 2 left off. And it's just annoying. Really, really annoying. If I had to make a fantasy, sci-fi, or western, what would I choose? I guess sci-fi, but it would probably have fantastical elements to it as well. Do I agree legacy sequels need to die/never turn out well? Well, never turn out well, no, because Top Gun Maverick came out in 2022, and that's one of the best movies I've ever seen in my life, and I guess, I don't know if you consider Toy Story 3 a legacy sequel. Came out 11 years after Toy Story 2. I don't know if that counts, but if you do, that's another example. But, like, they can be done well, it's just that they often aren't done well. Because they're either interested in just milking your nostalgia for all it's worth by retreading the same things they did and not contributing anything new to the equation, or they will essentially tear down the original and make it their own thing, and both of those suck for different reasons, and I'm kind of sick of them both. But I wouldn't want to axe the concept entirely, because you can do good stuff with legacy sequels. It's just that people don't often care to actually, you know, do that. So opinion on Logan 2017, never seen it. Probably should have seen it, because it might have made me care more about Deadpool and Wolverine, but I've never seen any of those Fox superhero movies, so most of Deadpool and Wolverine didn't mean anything to me from that perspective. Although I've heard conflicting reports. Some people say that if you've seen the Fox movies, you'll like Deadpool and Wolverine more. And some people say that if you've seen them, you'll want to break something because of how much those characters and storylines are not respected. But I don't really care enough about any of it to really get too involved in the discussion. I just wasn't. I just don't. I'm not passionate enough about any of that to say anything other than I just don't care for Deadpool and Wolverine. I was unimpressed watching it in theater. Even my audience was clearly eating it up. They were laughing at all the jokes. They were clapping at all the cameos. They were clearly responding well to it all. But I was not on board at all. The project named HLX has seen way more changelogs in recent months, as well as it being in optimization phases according to data mining. Alright. I guess we'll have to wait and see. And like I said, if Half-Life 3 does end up becoming a thing, then I'll check out, because I would like to play the original Half-Life games. They seem like things I would enjoy playing, from what little I know about them. I just don't like cliffhangers. I don't like tying back into what I said earlier about endings and the importance of sticking an end, of nailing the landing on the ending. I will not start watching something or start playing or experience. I will not begin the consumption of a story if I know it doesn't have an ending, or if I know that's why I will never watch Game of Thrones. It's no point. I'm not gonna bother. I know that ending. I know that the fans universally despise the way Game of Thrones ended, so why would I? Same thing with Star vs. Forces of Evil. There's no point in getting attached to characters that I know are just gonna be dragged through the mud by the ending. That's just a complete and total waste of my time.
Long ago, Mordrak ruled this land with the help of 6 magical essences.
So I don't like the new Now You See Me. No, not at all. It was one of the most astoundingly disappointing, painfully disappointing movies I've seen in a theater in a while. It got to the point where, like, there was a point of no... After the final illusion happened, where the original Horsemen were stuck in a box the whole movie, the whole climax, and the new Horsemen did all the stuff, and by did all the stuff, I mean just did the same exact fucking thing that the original Horsemen did at the end of the second movie. And then there was one specific line where they were saying, like, they have accomplished something that we never could have done on our own. That was the point where I said, fuck this, I'm out. And I just pulled out my phone and started scrolling through Discord. I was so mad. I was so fucking pissed off. And then they had the balls to throw in an MCU cameo in the final scene. Like, fuck off. I hated watching that movie so much. I hadn't seen the Now You See Me movies in a long time, like a really long time. So rewatching them both before Now You See Me 3, I was like, man, I forgot how much I love these movies. I'm so excited to see the third one, and I was.
Thanks to Princess Daphne, I discovered the secret of the essences.
I was mad. I was fucking mad.
You'd like that, wouldn't you? But I will give
Still am. I'm still not over it. It wasn't that long, just a couple days ago. I saw it in theaters.
It involves that sword. I would have succeeded.
Timer's still going, by the way. In case anyone's curious.
On that blasted thing. No being of weak
Uh-oh, did he figure it out?
evil intention
Hold on.
shall withdraw
8
the sword from
minutes,
its
53
position
seconds
forthwith.
is when I got a message from Avert that implies he might have figured out how far behind he is.
And while struggling to pull it out, that dung dragon.
Oh, he did it. Okay. 8 minutes, 55 seconds. He was 8 minutes and 55 seconds behind us. Okay. Welcome to the team, Avert. Welcome to the present. Hope you enjoyed your trip down to the past.
I myself
Do I think I'd also play Alex? Yeah.
Would you like
I probably wouldn't use PSVR 2. I don't know if it works on PC. It might, but I
bet you would.
I think it would be more trouble. I prefer using because I also have a Meta Quest headset, and I prefer using that because it's wireless. I can wirelessly. That's what I used for my Alien Isolation playthrough last year, as I just wirelessly connected my Meta Quest headset to my PC because it's just easier for recording's sake if I can do it wirelessly.
It will hurt less if you just.
Well, not even just record. Just generally speaking, it's a lot more ergonomic if you aren't tied down with wires when playing VR games. It's not as big of a deal for seated VR games like Alien Isolation or Resident Evil. Well, Resident Evil 7, obviously Village is standing, but for Resident Evil 7, it's sitting only. So, For sitting games, it's not a big deal, but for standing games where you're actually moving around your room, you can very easily get tangled up in your cords. That's why for some videos, you'll see people who are playing, like, really room-scale, free-roam VR games. They have a person on standby whose only job is cable management. Their express job is just to prevent the person playing from tripping over the cables as they walk around the room. How's progress in Toy Story 1 going? I gave a brief update at the start of the stream, but I'll give the brief update again. I technically shouldn't be streaming right now, because I should be prioritizing getting that video done. But the only reason I feel comfortable streaming... Like, if I was really in dire straits, I wouldn't be streaming, because I have canceled or delayed streams in the past because I was so busy making a video that I literally didn't have time to do anything else. But I only have 6 minutes left of the video to edit, which I actually don't know if that sounds like a lot to you. I don't know what people's general perception of video timelines are like as far as what sounds like a lot to edit, but it's not that. I can probably finish it today, or if not today, then like early tomorrow morning. So I'm not at all worried about me being behind schedule. I'm like, literally this morning, from the minute I woke up to the minute I jumped on stream, I was doing nothing but editing the Toy Story 1 video, so I'm feeling pretty good about where I'm at progress-wise. That's why I feel comfortable streaming today. And then after I finish editing the visuals, I need to lock the timeline, or sorry, lock the soundtrack, and then I gotta send it to Space Rangers for proof watching, and then we'll probably have a voice call where we just jump on and chat about any last-minute changes we think could make it better. And then I'm 100% confident in being able to finish the video in time for Saturday. It's just a matter of whether I will be able to get it through copyright in time for Saturday. That I am not confident about at all. But I know that I will at least have it finished in time for Saturday, and then we'll deal with copyright as things happen, I guess.
This armor will protect you from fire for a short time.
Just stick to watching the first two Now You See Me movies? Yeah, I'd say so. So, I'll say this about Now You See Me, Now You Don't. If you have never seen a Now You See Me movie in your life, and you have no attachment to the characters whatsoever, you'd probably think it was amazing. You would probably think, wow, this is so cool, it's so snippy, it's so fast-paced, the illusions are so cool. You'd probably love it if you had never seen any of the other movies. But if you have seen the other movies, it's one of the most intensely disappointing things I've ever seen in my life, because it just drags the original characters through the mud relentlessly. And I had the movie's number from the first 10 minutes. As soon as, after the opening scene, I immediately knew exactly what they were playing at as far as how they were handling the characters, and I'm like, oh no, it's gonna be one of those sequels, isn't it? And in fact, it was one of those sequels, and even though I expected it, it still pissed me off.
Well, I'm glad.
So, yeah, I'm still not over it.
Be warned, sir. Strong as your armor is, it cannot.
6 minutes can be a little of work, or a generous amount, depends on how editing intensive it would be. Yeah, it's, because here's the thing. I hesitate to provide any, like, official proper numbers like this, because the second I do, people will be like, wait, but if you can do it this fast, then why is it taking so long to make videos? And just bear with me for a second. At my maximum efficiency, it only takes me about 30 minutes to edit 1 minute worth of video footage. But, and here's the big but with that, that's assuming I already know exactly what I want to put at each moment of the video. Because the act of scrubbing through, because the way I edit videos is I essentially have, or at least specifically in regards to, I'll use Toy Story as an example for obvious reasons. The way my editing bay is set up is I have the main video on the left side, and then on the right side I have all the Toy Story movies and all the shorts laid out. So if I hear me say something and I think, okay, this clip from Toy Story 2 would work great here, I just go over to the right side, I grab that clip from Toy Story 2, I go back over to the left, and I put it in there, and I'm done. It doesn't take that long at all. The act of actually getting the clip, pulling it out, putting it where it needs to be, and lining it up in sync with what I'm saying does not take that much time at all. but obviously, it's not always that simple. Like, sometimes when I'm editing, I can hear me say something and immediately think, okay, I know exactly what needs to go here, or I will have already figured it out in advance. Like, while I was writing the script, I would have left a note saying, like, okay, this clip would be great to put right here, and then that's the actual creative process of it done. But obviously, it's not always that straightforward. The bulk of editing time is not spent actually doing the editing, it's figuring out what you're supposed to put there. Like, I had a pretty bad wall yesterday, where I listened to what I said, and I looked at it. Sometimes I don't necessarily like to listen to myself while I edit sometimes, so sometimes I won't even listen to what I say, I'll just read the script that I have open on my second monitor, and then based on that, I will determine, like, okay, what should go here, and then I'll only listen to myself say it as I line it up specifically on a second-by-second basis. And while I was doing that, I hit a point where I was like, I don't know what to put here, and I kind of really ran into a wall as far as not feeling motivated to continue because of how stuck I felt, creatively speaking. And that's where the bulk of editing time comes from, is trying to figure out what would be... either trying to figure out anything at all, like sometimes you just literally can't think of what to put in a specific part of the video. Or, the other problem is you have a lot of really good options, but you're trying to figure out which is the best one. Like, what is most suitable. Or sometimes none of it. Like, sometimes you try a bunch of things that you think would be good, but then you play it back and you're just like, I don't feel it. I thought this would be a good idea, but I'm not feeling it. And sometimes I sort all that out on my own, but a lot of the time, what I'll do when I experience those kind of setbacks, is I'll just be like, okay, I'm just going to leave it here for now, and then I'll come back to it in the proof watching stage, and I'll ask the others, like, hey, here are 3 options, what do you think works best? Because I will have deliberated on something for like 30 minutes straight, trying to figure out what works best for any given situation, but they're experiencing it fresh for the first time with no preconceived notion of what it is or what it needs to be, so they have, when I say they, I'm referring to Duganico, Jay Avert, and Anonymous, like all the Space Rangers, they have no preconceived notion for, like, they're going in totally fresh and totally blind, so that kind of fresh perspective on something can be really helpful for trying to figure out what your video needs and what would be best. And that's where a lot of another thing that I've learned is if you are hitting a wall, just don't do it. Just move on, because there's more than one part of the video that needs editing. It's why I don't always edit things linearly. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I edit things linearly. When I'm doing more angry videos, like the D23 video, I edited that completely linearly. But for the for more positive things like Owl House, Toy Story 3, and now Toy Story 1, I find it more productive if I edit things non-linearly, just in case. I don't really know why, I find that to be more productive for me. And so, one of the reasons why that's helpful is because, like, yesterday, for example, the wall that I told you about I hit that wall, and I'm like, I do not know what to do here. But then this morning, I came back to that same point, and I knew exactly what I needed to do. Sometimes just stepping away from something for a while, and then coming back with a fresher perspective, a fresher set of eyes, can be really helpful as far as sorting, like, figuring out what you need to do next. So yesterday when basically my point is, rather than beating your head against the wall for 2 hours trying to figure out what to do for a specific part of your video, just leave it alone and come back to it later, and 9 times out of 10, you will have a better go at figuring out what the video needs. That usually works out for me, and it worked out this time as well. What's my opinion on Titanic 1997? Yeah, I haven't seen it. What games of Quantic Dream have I played? I think it's only Detroit Become Human. And that's it. I do not believe I've played any of their other games. Quantic Dream games. Nope. That's it. Just Detroit Become Human. Don't I hate it when bad sequels have to rewrite events, characters, and history from prior films and gaslight you to make its own story function? Yep. That's my favorite thing in writing. That's my all-time favorite thing in the realm of writing. Thoughts on Tangled, the series so far? I really like it. I like it a lot. I don't know why I expect... There was never any expectation of me not enjoying it because, you know, it's more Tangled. I appreciate what they're doing with a lot of the characters, the new characters. Like, one of my favorite episodes of Season 1 is the Science Fair episode, where the two main characters are Varian and Cassandra, which are two characters that aren't in the original movie. Which I think is a testament to just how good the writing is, that even though I'm not... Oh, I know what I'm missing. Even though they're not characters that we knew, I still care about them and I'm still invested in their stories. I've only seen Season 1 so far and the first episode of Season 2. And obviously this, but I'm very, I am kind of apprehensive, I'll say, about where the story itself is going, because it seems like it's leaning far more heavily into the supernatural aspect of things, like really fleshing out the lore of the Golden Sundrop Flower and all that, which, you know, I'm not sure I really, like, I would have watched a whole show just set in Corona of all the characters getting up to shenanigans. There's a lot of really great character bonding moments that come from those opportunities in Season 1. And I feel like we've learned a lot more about the characters and understood them on a much deeper level through the medium of the television show. But obviously they are interested in fleshing things out a lot more. And I guess we'll see where it goes. Although I'm pretty confident in at least one aspect of the story that they're going to reveal involving Cassandra, because one, her character design, it evokes imagery. It reminds you of things. So I'll say that much. And that, plus the fact that she said she doesn't know who her parents are, and I'm like, I shit you not, the instant she said that I thought, so you're a descendant of... Right. Okay. And apparently I'm not the only one who thought that. Like, I watched a D23 panel of the Tangled casting creators back from 2017 in the middle of Season 1. And one of the questions that they asked one of the questions that one of the fans asked, I don't know her, is Eden Espinosa the person who plays Cassandra? One of the questions she was asked was in relation to who she may or may not be related to. Naming, I'm trying to remain vague in case you don't know what I'm talking about, but if you've seen the show, you probably do. I wouldn't call it subtle. I wouldn't call it subtle at all. I'll say that much. Thoughts on the nominees for the Game of the Year? Split Fiction should have been nominated. Other than that, it looks like a solid list. I wouldn't have expected it to look much differently, except that Split Fiction absolutely should have gotten nominated. It's absolutely insane that it did not. Do I love Hazbin Hotel or the Owl House more? I think I have to answer Owl House just because it's like the opportunities that show created for me are still like mind-blowing, and I don't even fully understand how I got there myself. Like, I think it has to be the Owl House, but I also have a lot of appreciation for Hazbin Hotel because of its ability to pull me out of a mental slump. Which, but again, both seasons so far I've watched them during a time where I really needed something to lean on for emotional support, and Hazbin has provided that with both seasons, so it gets a lot of points in that department as well. Thoughts on the Dragon's Den movie in the works? There's been a Dragon's Den movie in the works for years at this point. I'm like, I don't even know anymore what's happening with the Dragon's Den movie. But I'm certainly, what's the word? Dreading the idea of a Ryan Reynolds-led Dragon's Lair movie. I'm not even sure. Last I checked, it was going to be a live-action Netflix movie starring Ryan Reynolds, and somehow every part of that sentence is worse than the last. I don't know why, like, if they want to do the Dawn Bluth Dragon's Lair movie, which has been rumored forever, then go for it, but last I checked, that wasn't happening. They've shifted focus to the live-action Ryan Reynolds thing, which does not interest me in the slightest. But whatever if we ever see a Dragon's Lair movie, which at this point I'm kind of unsure if we're going to, then I'll certainly check it out, but I don't know. Looking forward to seeing what Dana does with Knights of Guinevere. Same, I just hope it gets greenlit. It feels like it probably is going to, because it's already got like 15 million views. I feel like it is a foregone conclusion that it'll get greenlit, but you know, still technically hasn't been confirmed yet, so we gotta wait until like we get a official confirmation on that matter. But yeah, assuming it gets greenlit, I am really hoping, I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with that world, because there's so much potential, and the pilot is so good. Haven't seen Pluribus yet? No, I'm either going to wait until all the episodes are out, or I'm going to wait until really the main thing that's stopped me from watching is I just don't have time. I'm buckling down on trying to get Toy Story 1 out the door. But like I said, Toy Story 1 is going to be my last major project for the year, and barring finishing up a Sonic commentary, I'm going to be spending most of December and probably a good chunk of January as well recuperating, and because I've had technically only two, because the major projects this year were Toy Story 3 and Toy Story 1. But I also did the D23 video, which wasn't exactly an insignificant amount of work, especially given the time frame under which it was created. It was like less than a month from start to finish, I think, was how long it took to put that together. Or how long in which I put it together. But, like, the Toy Story 3 video is something I've literally been working on since January. Since the early days of January, I was out at the theater and in my attic with FG filming stuff. Filming the live action stuff, so it was a absolutely, like, half of this year was dedicated to that series and nothing else, really. And then the Toy Story 1 video has also proven to be its own headache, and then I had the D23 in the middle of that, so I just need a longer break than what I took over the summer. And in that, oh dear. No. In that period is when I plan on catching up with things like Pluribus. Maybe I'll play the new SpongeBob game. It's a lot of stuff. And obviously Stranger Things. See, my goal, honestly, is just to have Toy Story 1. Like, I'm looking forward to Toy Story 1 being behind me in time for Stranger Things Season 5. And Zootopia 2 is obviously next week as well. We got the new Halo book coming out next month. A lot of stuff on the horizon. When doing the Pixar ranking, am I doing it based on analytical quality, personal enjoyment, a combination, or something else? I am not going to be doing it on personal enjoyment because like, everyone already knows what would be at the top for personal enjoyment. I'm more interested in discussing it from a perspective of analytical quality, because everyone seems so confident that they know what's going to be on top and bottom of the list, but no one's correct from what I've seen. At least for top. For bottom, some people, yeah, but for top, I don't think anyone's been correct from what I've seen. So, yeah, I think it's more interesting when you talk about how well made they are instead of just what you personally like or don't like. But I will still be factoring in, like, I'll say Cars 2 is the example to point to, as you mentioned, as far as drawing that line between the two, because yeah, I love Cars 2 a whole lot. In fact, I watched Cars 2 on my flight home from London over the summer. I was like, basically I was like, well, let me watch a bunch of London-themed movies. So I watched Mission Impossible Fallout, I watched Sonic 3, I watched Cars 2, because of course I did. And yeah, I adore watching Cars 2. But obviously it is a disaster of a story. And so I would definitely draw that distinction, but the ultimate ranking would be from a perspective of quality, not just personal enjoyment.
The Smithy's flame is
Pluribus has really creeped you out and has you really creeped out and intrigued. I can believe it. I've heard basically nothing but positive things about Pluribus, which I don't know, like, I mean, of course, because it's Vince Gilligan, so obviously you knew what you were signing up for. But I trust him to deliver on a really intriguing and creepy premise. And I don't even really know what it's about, and I prefer to keep it that way. This is not an invitation. When I say that I don't know what it's about, I'm going to be clear. This is not an invitation for you to tell me what it's about. The only thing I know is that it is about a woman, the most miserable person in the world, trying to save the world from happiness. Whatever the fuck that means. I don't know anything else about it, and I prefer to keep it that way because I want to go in totally cold. If you've seen it, cool. Please keep any more specifics to yourself.
The dragons.
Have you watched the Big Hero 6 series? No, I have not. Well, I think I watched one episode while it was on TV in the background when I was a kid. I don't remember really anything about it, but I'm pretty sure I saw it tangentially. But I've not actively sat down to watch the Big Hero 6 series, and I don't really plan to because I don't feel that strongly about Big Hero 6 the movie. So I'm not like Tangled is one of my favorite things of all time. I love Tangled so much. I think it is easily one of Disney's best movies, bar none. And so I was really looking for it. By that I mean it's kind of crazy that I ended up taking as long as I did to even watch the Tangled series because of that. But yeah, I was very eager to get to it eventually. I don't really feel the same way for can I do this with I cannot. I don't really feel the same way for the Big Hero 6 series because I'm pretty sure I've only seen Big Hero 6 twice? Maybe 3 times? I don't know, I liked it when I saw it as a kid, but I never really loved it. I don't know how much I'd like it if I rewatched it today. Do I want DreamWorks to make a Madagascar 4? No. Madagascar 3 was the perfect ending, and you don't need to continue any further than that. Also, not really sure how well it would go if you made a Madagascar 4, because the 2 of the main 4 cast members are Chris Rock and Jada Pinkett Smith. Now, of course, they don't record their lines together, but I don't know. Seems like it might be a little awkward for press tours, or if for no other reason than for meta purposes, like, maybe, you know, I'll just leave it at, I don't want them to make Madagascar 4. The story is over, we need to normalize stories actually ending. Because that is very much not normalized. I'm kind of legitimately starting to wonder / worry about the possibility that Toy Story 5 is not going to be the last Toy Story movie, and is going to become... Toy Story is going to become my version of something like Jurassic Park or Star Wars, where it just keeps fucking going and never ever stops. It exists for like the next 40 years of our lives, and it keeps coming back in new iterations. And that, I really don't want that to be the case. That would be horrible. But I don't know. I don't know. It's concerning. Why did Frozen take off so much when Tangled was right there? To be honest with you, I don't know. I honestly don't, because Tangled is a much better movie than Frozen. Which is not to say Frozen is bad, it's just Frozen is no Tangled. I don't really understand what it is about that movie that blew up so much. I just don't get it. I don't know why people were drawn to it. Clearly something about it resonated with kids and adults on a level far greater than anything Disney or really anyone could have possibly predicted. Like, it is abundantly clear that Disney was not in any way remotely prepared for the success of Frozen. Which is why when it came out, they scrambled to put Frozen anywhere they could in their parks, regardless of whether it made any... Like, they had no plan in place, clearly. They were just running wild trying to get it up anywhere and everywhere they could think of. I think it was literally just the music. Let It Go was absolutely massive. Oh, don't worry, I know. Because people lost their minds when I sung Let It... So, here's a weird middle school story. While I was going up the stairs in middle school one day, the door at the top of the stairs was open. And I didn't really consciously realize that. Where's my... There it is. I didn't really consciously realize that the door was open. But while I was going up the stairs, I was singing Let It Go to myself. And, again, just not really thinking much about it. But then when I got to the top of the stairs, there was a kid there. My friend, who I won't name, but my friend was sitting there. And he was just looking at me with this look of bewilderment. Like he had no idea that I was able to do that. And then the next thing I knew, after school, he had gathered everybody around because he wanted them to hear me sing Let It Go. And I don't know why it was... I mean, the song is good. It's really good. I still don't... I'm still blown away by how contagious Frozen Fever was, because I lived through it. That was like... Frozen is one of those movies that where I lived through the hype. I wasn't alive when The Lion King came out. I wasn't alive when Aladdin came out, but I was certainly alive when Frozen came out, and holy shit. That dominated. Have I seen Don Bluth's pitch presentation? No, I have not. I kind of have stayed blind to a lot of the specifics, because if by some miracle we ever actually see an animated Dragon Slayer movie, I want to go into it cold. I don't really want to know much going into it. But no, I've not seen the pitch presentation. Like, all that stuff. Like, I know there's clips, like, concept snippets of a potential theoretical movie, but I've deliberately avoided watching all of it. How would I feel if Disney did a Wreck-It Ralph 3? I would groan. But then I would say, hey, it can't be worse than the last one, right? Right? Surely? Surely? We can't sink lower than Ralph breaks the internet? Surely that's rock bottom for this franchise? I don't know. Do I want Elemental 2? Nope. No, I don't. Elemental is a perfectly self-contained story that should not be continued at all. What do I think about Miraculous Ladybug? I think FG sat me down and forced me to watch one episode, and I wanted to die the entire time. I know it has a fan base. I know it clearly resonates with people. It does not resonate with me. I don't care about it. I don't really want to watch it. And, yeah, I'll leave it there. If you enjoy it, cool. Have you seen there's a Don Bluth inspired character in the most recent Smiling Friends episode? No, I don't watch Smiling Friends, nor do I know anything about it. Thoughts on the Tangled episode, Queen for a Day? That was one of the major tentpole episodes, and yeah, it was pretty, I mean, getting to hear Jeremy Jordan sing the power ballad that was Let Me Make You Proud was amazing. Yeah, I mean, oh shit. I'm impressed by both the sort of big, broad strokes, tentpole, story-driven episodes, as much as I am the sort of smaller slice-of-life episodes. I'm still apprehensive about kind of how crazy some of the lore might get in upcoming episodes, depending on how big they go with it. I don't know. I'm worried. I have worries, that's all. I have my worries. But yes, Queen for a Day was very, very good. What in particular is bad about the GameCube version of Dragon's Lair 3D? Well, for one, it runs like absolute garbage. But the main thing is that the control scheme just is not intuitive at all. It doesn't... Whatever you think is a natural, ergonomic, logical orientation for buttons and where they should be and what they should press, just doesn't exist on GameCube for some reason. So you ended up having to do a lot more convoluted things to accomplish basic tasks, which you just don't have to do on other platforms. That, and also Well, I mentioned the load time, or I mentioned the fact that it runs horribly, but specifically the load times are atrocious. I would need to play it again to give you more specific examples, but I just know that playing it on GameCube was like revisiting an old friend after years and just seeing how much they've let themselves go to shit. Like, how could you let this happen? I can't believe this is theoretically supposed to be the same thing that I play on all the other platforms, but it is not at all, and I feel really bad for all the people who are only able to experience the game on GameCube. Oh yeah. Yeah, and then OJ, whenever he used the fire sword, see how it's running normally, like a normal video game? Yeah, that did not happen for him. Literally ran in slow motion. Which is kind of a problem when a lot of critical components of this game require the fire sword in order to complete. So that's fun. Have the Covenant encountered the Flood prior to combat evolved? The answer is yes. And I will leave it at that. Because if you ever decide to play more than just the mainline games, you'll find more specific answers to that question. I'll just leave it there for now. What are my thoughts on the original Dragon's Lair game on Switch? I am disappointed. I remember being very disappointed by the Switch port of Dragon's Lair. The Wii port of that game was pretty great. It was really, like, the menu was really dynamic. It had all the arcade machines, like the original classic arcade machine designs on display. You could pick between them. But in the Switch version, it's just like JPEGs of the arcade. Like, I mean, physically in a three-dimensional space, you had the arcade machines you could pick between, and the camera would zoom in and out of them and all this cool stuff. And the buttons, like the prompt, if you played with button prompts as far as what button you needed to press at each individual QuickTime event, they would be animated as far as where they would appear on the screen, but in the Switch version, it's just this boring, stupid compass in the bottom that just lights up yellow. I mean, it works. There's nothing technically wrong with it, but it's just boring, and I don't find the UI to be as intuitive as it was. I don't know why it seems like whenever they make like the newer versions of those types of remasters, a lot of the time the UI is just worse. Like, it's more boring, and two, it's more clunky. Like, you have this really cool design for a menu that really sets itself apart from the other games available at the time, and then you take that and just make it as boring and bog standard as possible, and that also somehow runs worse and it doesn't feel as seamless to navigate. And I don't know why that's so common in a lot of these. Not all of them, obviously, but a lot of the ones I've played seem to have this problem, and I don't understand why. Why you just change. Why make something less cool for no reason?
Wizard will stop at nothing to keep you from me. You will need to use everything in your possession to get through these trials.
Have I ever edited on any encyclopedia website? No, I've not. Oh shit. Bad time to look at chat, it would seem. Favorite room in Dragon's Lair 2? Oh. It's probably the piano room. It's either that or the Through the Mirror, which is the Alice in Wonderland one. And by the way, I'm only talking about this from the perspective of like what's most entertaining to watch, because as far as what's playing them, they all suck to play because they all last 10 years, and almost none of them. I think the only one with checkpoints is the first level. Maybe the Mummy level, but I'm not sure about that. I think it might only be because like the thing with the original Dragon's Lair is you're bound to screw up. You are bound to make mistakes, you are bound to make the wrong move, and you are bound to be forced to try the rooms again. But all the rooms are really short. Like, you can get through most of them in 30 seconds or less. So if you fail one room, it's like, oh well, I'll just try again later. And then you move on to another room and you get a new task to attempt. But in Dragon's Lair 2, not only, like, when you die, it's not a non-linear game. In the original Dragon's Lair, if you fail one room, you go to a different room, and you come back to the room that you failed later. But in Dragon's Lair 2, it is a linear sequence of events, so if you fail a room, you have to keep brute forcing that same room again and again until you eventually get it. But more importantly, the rooms last for minutes at a time, so if you make one mistake right at the very end, you are forced to go all the way back to the beginning of the level and redo everything, and it fucking sucks. So, ignoring that, and just talking about from a perspective of, like, what's the most entertaining series of events, it's probably either Through the Mirror, or... Because, like, for as crazy as Dragon's Lair 2 is, and how completely and utterly divorced it is from the tone of the original game, it is a pretty beautiful... Like, as a short film, it's kind of beautiful and crazy and really experimental and imaginative and visually exciting. And from that perspective, it's probably either the piano solo or Through the Mirror. Would probably be my picks for favorites. Do I see sites like Disney Wiki, Pixar Wiki, or any other encyclopedia that documents Toy Story information? Yeah, I mean, I don't regularly browse them, but I might occasionally scroll through them if I need information for something. Because contrary to popular belief, those types of Wikipedia sites are not malicious. They do not, in fact, have bad, like, I know, at least, I don't know if anyone can relate to this, but when I was in middle school, my teachers were adamant about how you should never, ever use Wikipedia, and you are never allowed to use Wikipedia as a source for anything ever, or else we might behead you. They didn't say that last part, but, you know, it makes it more dramatic if you say that last part. They really didn't want us using Wikipedia for anything. So, what I did, and what I imagine most people did, is they did use Wikipedia, they just used the references at the bottom of the, because like when there's information on a Wikipedia page, there's a little citation next to it, and you click on the citation, it takes you to the bottom of the page, which links you to the more official source of that information, and that's what you use in your article as a reference. And then the teachers who are technologically illiterate have no idea that you use Wikipedia. Because, like, you can get good information. You just have to you have to be competent in research. You just have to know, like, hey, does this information on Wikipedia have a source? If yes, then okay, it's probably legit. Go check out the source. Does it line up? Yes, it does. Okay, we're cool. If it doesn't have a source, maybe be more skeptical. That's really all there is to it. It's not like putting a blanket ban on Wikipedia is stupid. So, yes, I browse those things occasionally for research and information, but I don't, like, regularly scrub through them. Sometimes it's iffy, but the idea you can just edit a page to say wrong info is wrong because they have mods. Yeah, that was the big thing that my teacher really didn't like is, did you know? She said it like she was talking about drugs something.
Did you know that these Wikipedia sites, anyone can edit them whenever they want? They can just make up random... I won't say what I want to say, because it's preschool toys present, but they can just make up whatever silly stuff they imagine, and it's like, ugh.
Okay, get over yourself. And I appreciate the sentiment, but it's just like, again, it's about being competent in research. If you know how to research, and you know how to fact-check information, then there's nothing at all wrong with using Wikipedia, as long as you don't just read in a Wikipedia and don't examine it any further than that, because then that can get you in trouble if you don't actually fact-check your information. But like, Wikipedia isn't a demonic website that's gonna seal your soul and permanently curse you to get Fs forever. Who was wearing the Master Chief helmet in the Toy Story 3 series? Me. That was me. That was me crawling around the attic and getting out of the car and going around the theater, and it was hot as balls. Both in the tiny attic and in the scorching summer, well, not summer, but the scorching, quote-unquote, winter Florida heat. It was, like, alarmingly, even though it was January and February when we were filming all this stuff, it was alarmingly hot. Like, every time we finished a take, I would immediately tear the helmet off and just to catch my breath, because I was so overly exhausted. Even if I wasn't doing anything that physically intensive, it was just a lot. And then the attic, the other problem with filming in the attic is that because it was so dark, and when you wear the Master Chief helmet outside, I think this is a dead run. When you wear it outside, it doesn't really affect anything. Like, it tints the world yellow, but it doesn't make it impossible to see anything. Which is why I felt comfortable driving into the parking spot while wearing it. Because obviously I was driving for that first exterior shot. But when you're in a really dark attic, the yellow tint makes it almost impossible to see where you're going or what you're doing. So that was a really big challenge. Not only did I have to navigate this incredibly claustrophobic space while thinking about how it looks on camera and what I'm doing and like on all that stuff, I also had to try to essentially see in the darkness. So that was a big deal, but it's honestly a miracle that it ended up looking the way that it did. I'm really happy with how it all turned out, but holy shit, it was a whole deal. To get it to look the way that it did in the finished version was way more effort than you could ever possibly know. But I'm very proud of what we all did together. Everyone behind the camera, everyone in the VFX department. I am very, 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 very happy with how it all came together. Knowing how much of a stressful period it was trying to make it that way. And I learned a lot of lessons, a lot of critical lessons for if I ever do something like that again. Like, for instance, I really did not foresee, I didn't really think much about how reflections would be a problem, but holy shit were they a problem. Because not only could you see the cameraman or woman, depending on whether it was Brooks or FG filming, not only could you see them in the reflection of my visor, but you could see them in the reflection of my car. And I didn't want you to be able to see either of those things, but I didn't really think much about it while we were filming. I was just trying to focus on getting everything filmed that we needed to get filmed. Then I got all the footage, and I'm like, oh shit, you can see the camera operator clear as day. So now I need to go in and systematically remove everyone from the shots, which sounds pretty straightforward. It's not. It really is not. It took way more effort than I was prepared for, but I had to do it. There was no... Because it wasn't even about, like, preserving the professionalism. In some cases, it was like... Brooks probably wouldn't care if his face was on the internet, but FG absolutely would. FG absolutely would, and I needed to make sure you couldn't see anyone. And the thing is, most people probably wouldn't even think about it. Most people probably wouldn't even think to look. But if you did look, I didn't want you to be able to see anything, so I would... Sometimes you could do it automatically. You could have, like, trace a mask around it, and then the computer would figure out the rest automatically. But a lot of times it couldn't. A lot of times it would just break if you tried to do it automatically. So I had to go frame by frame, removing them from the reflections. And like I said, I learned a lot of very important lessons for if we ever do something like this again to try to mitigate future headaches in that department. Worst game sequel to a conclusive final game. Oh, I don't know if this really counts, but... Because, like, Halo 4 isn't technically supposed to be a conclusion, but it can certainly operate as a conclusion, and Halo 5 is one of the worst things ever, so I guess I'll go with that one for now. Uh-oh. Let me save here, in case something goes horribly wrong, which it usually does in this level. Then I have the bag of marbles. Yep. That was kind of nostalgic, because I used to have... Sometimes, I never know, like, what people will resonate with. Like, for instance, I really didn't think me telling the story about my Titan pajama pants getting tossed accidentally would resonate with people, because I thought that was a thing that only happened, because of how fervently some people would argue that it makes no sense that Andy's mom would throw out the toys without even checking with Andy to make sure they were not, that it actually was garbage. I thought that it was just something that didn't happen to people, that kind of misunderstanding just doesn't happen. But then I told the story about how it happened to me, and everyone was like, oh shit, that happened to me too, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, oh, okay. So then yeah, this does just happen a lot, because people are dumb and don't check things. So that's reassuring, but also kind of annoying. But yeah, that's so like sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I don't really expect those types of things to really connect with people. But then sometimes I'm thinking, well, with the marbles, I thought that would be a thing where it's like everyone would have some kind of nostalgic attachment to those little bags of marbles that you would have in school. No one cared about the marbles. I don't know that I got even a single comment. Well, I might have got one, but it did not stick out to me in as meaningful a way as the stories about the trash bag mix-up did. That seemed to be something that connected with people a lot. Expectations for Wicked for Good? None. I mean, well, here's the thing. I've seen the play. Just like, I technically know what happens. But, you know, it's not fresh in my memory, so I would kind of be experiencing it for the first time when the movie comes out. But you gotta understand, I'm not, like, excited to see Wicked for Good. I'm going to see it because FG is gonna want to see it the same way. Like, I actually was kind of... I said last year I didn't want to see Wicked because I didn't really care much for the play, so I wasn't interested in seeing a movie adaptation of it. But then FG was in town, and I was like, hey, you want to see a movie? And she said, sure, you want to go see Wicked? And I'm like, well, I guess we're doing this now. But I actually ended up surprisingly enjoying it. I ended up enjoying Wicked a lot more than I was expecting to, but not to the extent where I'm like, oh my god, I gotta see Wicked. I can't wait next year. I can't wait for them to make the next one. I'm just like, I'll go see it, and we'll see what happens. Thoughts on Iron Man 2008? I need to rewatch it. And I did say, like, making my D23 video, I wanted to kind of... It made me want to rewatch a lot of the Marvel movies, of the first three phases, I mean. I just never got around to it because almost as soon as I finished the D23 video, I immediately jumped into production for the Toy Story 1 love letter, so I never caught a break ever. But maybe after the Toy Story 1 love letter is done, I'll finally be able to actually revisit them. But based on the last time I saw it, which I think was in 2021, yeah, it would have been 2021 when I was showing all the MCU movies to my mom. I would say it's probably one of the best in the MCU, but again, I would need to rewatch it to have more substantive reasoning as to why. Although I will say, just from the few clips of Iron Man that I was getting for my D23 video, I kind of just wanted to stop and watch the full thing as I was going, because it is such a good movie. Would I avoid trailers for a game in the same way I'd avoid trailers for a movie? Good question. The answer is yes and no, which is an annoying answer. But it depends, because, like, for gameplay mechanics specifically, I am more inclined to watch a trailer just so I know how the game's gonna play. But if it's a story-driven trailer, probably not. But it's entirely situational. Like, for instance, when Telltale games would come out, I would never watch the new trailers. Like, whenever they would release a new episode of a Telltale game, I would never watch any of the new trailers, because it's all just, like, there's no mechanics, it's all just story. But when they did the Halo Infinite gameplay overview for the multiplayer and campaign, that I watched, because I wanted to know how the game was going to play, what the open world was going to be like, and all that stuff. So I'd say it's entirely situational, as far as what type of game it is and what the presentation is going to be like. People who say you don't use trash bags for storage reeks of a form of elitism to me. Possibly. I don't want to make too blanket assumptions on people, but I can see how it could stem from an elitist position, certainly. But yeah, my family used trash bags for storage, like, for even still to this day. I'll use trash bags for things. It's just much more convenient and malleable, not have like I literally, for the purposes of my Toy Story 3 video, I literally had to buy a cardboard box. I don't have any of them lying around. I don't use cardboard boxes for things. I just don't. So I literally had to buy one for the sake of that video and write attic on the side of it. Trash bags have always been the primary means to which I store things. I wouldn't watch a trailer for Ace Attorney 7. Probably not, no. Unless I get jump scared by it. Like for instance, if we do the Game Award, well, when we do the Game Awards this year, if they show an Ace Attorney trailer during it, I wouldn't like run out of the room. But I wouldn't go out of my way to watch an Ace Attorney. So just tell me when it's coming out and I'm good. Tell me the release date and I'm good. I won't look into it any further. I would watch a trailer for a collection, like for instance, for the Investigations duology and for the Apollo Justice trilogy. I watched those trailers because obviously I've already played those games, so I want to see what new things they're adding in the collection. But for a new game, I would not watch a trailer for that now.
Thank you,
Unless it is specifically about a new mechanic they're adding, like, for instance, Perceive, Moon Matrix, that kind of stuff.
You were expecting the princess, of course. Well, rest assured that she is safe and sound.
Disney live action
inside
remake
that
ranking
portal.
when I'm dead. Plus 3
Forgive me
days.
for playing such a cruel
Just to make
trick
sure I'm
on you.
dead.
But you see, I needed someone to eliminate all my enemies and reclaim the essences that were stolen from me. I certainly
Thoughts on the
could not
Has-Been
do it
episode
from this
Silenced?
prison.
It kind of
My
ties back into what I was saying
dude in
earlier
Dragon
about the
Siege
whole
was certainly
the
no
Vox
help.
show thing, because it's a
why
good
I gave
episode
you the
and I like it a
amulet.
lot. It's got
I
some good
pretended
character
to be the
moments with
princess.
Charlie and Vaggie and Lucifer,
To guide you along your way.
and but the bulk of it
Did I
is.
see my
I
plan
want to
that
remain light on
well?
spoilers because I know there's at least a couple people here who have not seen Has-Been
I shall
Hotel season 2
rule
yet.
this world once more and take
The bulk of the
princess as
episode
my
takes place in
bride.
something that revolves entirely around Vox. And again, Vox is a great character. They do a lot of great stuff with him. It's just kind of like
I can't have
I
you
wish
taking
they
away
did
my
more with
pride
other
now,
characters.
can
But the ending of episode 5
outlived your
is the
useless
thing
too.
that they like.
Farewell,
That it's a
dark.
pretty significant moment for the characters, specifically for Charlie and Vaggie, that they needed to build to after how Charlie was acting earlier in the season. So yeah, I'm very happy with it. And what I think it's just like, if the entire season was better balanced for all the characters, it might not stick out to me as much. But the thing, because like the 3 songs in episode 5 are all Vox songs, back to back to back. They're all Vox songs, which is annoying because I'm kind of sick of Vox songs, to be honest with you. But if the whole season was better balanced, I don't think episode 5 would stick out to me quite as much, because then that could be like, in the same way that episode 4 was kind of the Alistair episode, episode 5 could be the Vox episode. But like the whole thing is just the Vox season, which is annoying. Thoughts on Shadow Generations level of Kingdom Valley Act 1. Kingdom Valley is the best level in that game. Even removing my 06 bias, I'd say that is quite clearly the best level in Shadow Generations.
You think you've won, don't you? Well,
Have I thought about doing an
it
elimination
seems like
commentary?
absorbed
We did.
all of the
We did
power
one.
of the
Remember, we did the
essences.
Mario movie,
You will find
2023.
I'm not
That's an
so
elimination
easily
movie.
vanquished.
Henceforth, illumination commentary. Voila.
Blast you, you infernal knight! You ruined my plans! No matter. I've absorbed enough energy to destroy you and everyone else in this pitiful kingdom!
What's my opinion on Winnie the Pooh? He is a national treasure who must be protected at all costs. Boom.
I discovered the secret.
You're so hyped for Wicked for Good? Oh really? I couldn't tell.
Thanks to Princess Diana,
Startling revelation to me.
it involves that sword.
Alright, final boss time. And time to run. Before he zaps me. Yeah, so it looks like it's going to be about 2.5 hours in total, which was what I said at the beginning. It's anywhere between 2.5 hours to 3 hours is usually how long it takes me to get through this game. I think it only took longer last year because we broke from the game halfway through to watch the Game Awards nominees, which I will say, there was a brief moment where I considered, I was like, should I move the stream to Monday, even though it's technically not the anniversary, just so we can watch the Game Award nominations live on stream? And I kind of wish I did, because holy fuck, I lost my mind when I found out Sonic 3 wasn't getting nominated, but Minecraft and Until Dawn were. But, yeah, I don't know. It's probably best that we kept it consistent with the anniversary tradition and all that stuff. But I thought about it. I did think about it. Can I react in this stream? I mean, well, I've already seen them, so it's not like I have to fake my reactions to do that, and no thanks. I mean, you kind of already got a taste of it when I ranted about how fucking stupid it was earlier in the stream. But yeah, it's not happy. Not happy at all. Do I prefer the 93 Mario movie or Mario movie 2023? 2023, hands down, no, not even a question. Some people might say 1993 because of how stupid it is. It's like a so bad it's good kind of thing, whereas the 2023 movie is rather bland and safe by comparison. But you know what? The 2023 movie didn't give me a headache that lasted for days. Also, it's much more faithful to the source material. Whereas the 93 Mario movie is not, honestly, it's not that far removed from the stuff they tried to pull with the Until Dawn movie this year, as far as it just having nothing at all to do with the original game. Honestly, the production value is probably about the same as well. Favorite out of these: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Interesting question. I've never thought about this before. I guess division, because you get to do you draw the little squiggly thing, and you map out a chart for division's sake. That's the game bean, by the way. I guess division. I don't know. I never really thought about it before. Not a single one of the nominees is good. Well, I guess I can't say that definitively because I haven't seen them, but it certainly seems like an embarrassing list. Not even because Sonic 3 isn't on there, but like I've heard people say Twisted Metal is another really good thing that should have been nominated but wasn't.
My hero.
And so everyone lived happily ever after. Why would Mordrock do that? Because he's an asshole? I don't know. Cheesy though this song is, I love the closing credits song for this game. Have I seen a world record run for this game? Yes, I have. I have seen a world record run, and it's not really interesting to me because it's mostly save manipulation and getting stuck in, like... You know the FNAF 3 minigame, the Happiest Day minigame, where you play as Fredbear, and you have to, like, glitch your way up the side of buildings? It's basically that, just for the whole game. Like, you by doing some quick load glitch, I'll tell you what, I'll show you. After the credits are over, I'll pull it up so you can see what I'm talking about. It's not very, like, it's, what interests me about speedruns is optimization and like Battle for Bikini Bottom, when you combine that game's already buttery smooth movement and camera with the advent of cruise boosting, you can pull off some insane movement tech across the levels in order to clear them efficiently. Like some of the highest, the maximum speed runs, or the fastest cruise boosts you can do are mesmerizing to watch the grace with which speedrunners will blitz their way across the levels and collect all the objectives with like pin-perfect precision. And then inversely, the most recent strat that was found out for Battle for Bikini Bottom on the PS2, where you can you utilize a pause storage exploit to duplicate spatulas and basically just redo the first level of the game again and again and again until you get to 75 spatulas. That's boring to me. That's not, like, yes, you technically are beating the game faster, but it's not interesting to watch, you know? And I'd say this game is it's one where the world record strats for speedruns just aren't that interesting. Was this playthrough a regular or 100% of the game? This is 100% playthrough. I got all the treasures. Even though there's no real reason to, because the only reason you get the treasures is, 1, for personal satisfaction, and 2, to unlock all the bonus effects, like unlimited mana, or permanent fire sword, or, I mean, unlimited mana, unlimited fire sword. You can play the game with pencil test characters, that kind of stuff. But once you do it once, there's no real reason to do it again, except for just personal satisfaction, like I do. Like, there's no reason why I would get all of this a second time, or a third, or a 20th, or a 100th, or a millionth. Is the stream over now? Almost. I'll stick around a little while longer because I want to show you guys what I'm talking about with the speedrunning exploit thing. And maybe I'll stick around to answer a few more questions, but it's almost over, because I do need to get back to editing, to finishing. My plan, in case you weren't here for the beginning of the stream, my plan is to finish editing the visuals of the Toy Story 1 video today. If not today, then early tomorrow morning. So I gotta get back to work. I gotta eat lunch and then just go into shutdown mode for the rest of the day. Also, I love it when games do this. Just thank you for playing. It's so simple. It costs nothing, but I really like it when developers include this. And yeah, so this stuff right here is what I was talking about. You get unlimited mana, continuous fire sword, pencil test characters, where you just, all the characters are black and white, like it's literally pencil test before they actually color anything in. And then smooth shaded is what I play because it makes the characters' models look a lot better. But once you unlock all those ones, there's no real reason to get them all again. Okay, now let me pull up the speedrun and show you Dragon's Lair 3D World Record speed run. Don't want speedruns of the original Dragon's Lair. Hold on, let me look up stuff here. And pause. Dragon. Here we are. Okay. So this is kind of what I'm talking about, right? Like here. Okay. So I don't even fully understand how it works myself, to be perfectly honest with you. But what it does is, like, you jump sideways. Well, let's go frame by frame here to see if we can really get a grip on this. So you jump sideways like this, and then you pause the game, or I think it's like quick. I think quick saving is what's happening here. You use quick saving, and then quick loading, and then for some reason this locks Dirk's position, so we can slide up vertically like this. And then you quick save, quick load again to get out of that. Oh, you can't see the video? Oh, what's going on? Is it frozen? What do you see right now? It's not on? What are you guys seeing? The thing isn't, is it black? Is it, you see the game menu. Okay, hold on. Give me a second, I'll sort this out. Okay. Does that work? Literally all I did was switch from one scene to the other. But it's showing up on my OBS screen now. See it? Okay. That doesn't make any sense to me at all. Literally all I did, I just switched from one screen waited for a few seconds, and then switched back to the other, and now it... Alright. Well, if it works, it works. Anyway, so basically what it is you quick save, you jump sideways, you quick save, and then you quick load, and then it locks Dirk's position, and then he just flies up like this. You quick save, quick load again to, I guess, break free of it, and then you carry on as usual. And that's like the whole game, is just doing this again and again and again. And I don't find that very interesting from a speedrunning perspective. Forgot FNAF 2 is coming in 2 weeks. Yeah, it kind of snuck up on me, and I gotta be honest, I am kind of looking forward to it. Well, I don't know about looking forward. The closer we get, the more I'm like, okay, I'm hoping this is gonna be good, because like I see it's technically the same pitfall I fell into for the first movie, where I'm seeing all the physical animatronics and how fucking good they look. And it's tricking me into wanting to go see it, but this happened last time and it ended up being a colossal disappointment. So I'm hoping it doesn't, like, because I am willing to believe in good faith that Scott Cawthon and the director, whose name I forget, is it Emma? Let me look it up. I feel bad that I'm forgetting her name. It's, yeah, Emma Tammy. I believe that they are receptive, because they said that they were paying attention to feedback from the first movie and that they're going to be acting on that feedback for the sequel. I'm willing to believe in good faith that that is what they're doing. But if the second movie ends up being bad as well, then I'm done. Then I'm like, I'm not gonna if this is what you consider to be an improvement, I'm done giving you the benefit of the doubt moving forward. But I'm willing to give second chances in that respect. I'm hoping, because I'd like to see a good FNAF movie. That'd be neat. Wouldn't that be cool? If we had a movie for the franchise that wasn't absolutely terrible. That'd be fun. Sonic Boom is Knuckles. It actually does look kind of similar to that clip you showed me of the Sonic Boom Infinite Knuckles jumping thing. Raising my expectations for another FNAF movie. Okay, maybe not. I wouldn't phrase it that way. I just say, like, I'm looking forward to seeing it in the hopes that they will stay true to their word and not completely drop the ball again. But I'm not really expecting high things from it. Just, how about passable things? Can we go for passable? Would I rather be played by Chris Pratt or Jack Black in the Gaming Magic 13 movie? I choose Buzz Lightyear. Stream died? Did it? Did pull it up on my end. It seems live on my end. Okay, we're cool. We good? I guess it died. Okay, well, we're fine. We're cool. You know, we're just gonna carry on. Although I should probably take that as a sign that we should wrap up soon, because if that happened, that usually means it's something that it's about to get worse soon. So we'll try to head toward a speedy conclusion. Did I know Hazbin Hotel episode's Weapon of Mass Distraction and Curtain Call will be coming out tomorrow? Yes, I did know that they were coming out tomorrow. And since the song names have been officially revealed, I can tell you that Hear My Hope is gonna blow the fucking roof off when you hear that song. You'd like to see a Total Drama World Tour review in the same vein as my Toy Story 4 review? Here's the thing with recommending things for me to review, is that there's different types of reviewers and analysts and essayists on YouTube. Some people will go see a bunch of new movies and review them as they come out, or they'll take suggestions for movies that they watch that their viewers want to see them review. And then there's people who kind of just make whatever videos they want to make, and they either focus only on the big releases that they actually want to, or they just do a bunch of their own personal stuff. I kind of fit more into the second category. I'm not someone you look to for thoughts on, like, hey, did you see the new movie? Is it good? Should I go see it? Did you like it? I'm someone you go to for, like, very extensive, lengthy laborious examinations of things that I just care a lot about. Like, that's honestly my biggest advice to anyone who's starting YouTube is don't chase trends. Because, I mean, the thought process, of course, is, hey, if I do the new popular thing, everyone will want to come see me, because everyone likes the new popular thing. No. That is not how that works. It has never been how it works, and it will never be how it works. And I've known this ever since I was a kid, just making these videos for fun. I thought that if I covered all the brand new releases day one, like the day they came out, then I'd be on top of the world because everyone would want to see it. The problem there is that everyone else has that exact same genius idea, so you're not going to stand out at all. The popular videos weren't the ones that I did covering new releases. They were ones that I did just covering stuff that I was really, like, I was really, really passionate about. And I'll say I was good at making the LEGO walkthroughs. That was something that I was really, really passionate about, was making comprehensive video walkthroughs for the LEGO games. And clearly, a lot of people seem to agree, because still to this day, for some reason, the LEGO Indiana Jones and especially LEGO Star Wars walkthroughs are some of the most popular things I've done from the gaming perspective. So that was what people, before the Pixar stuff took off, that was what people came to me for, was for LEGO walkthrough series. They didn't come to me for something that a million other people were doing. So that's kind of what I would always tell people, is don't just do whatever you want, follow your heart, make videos on the things that you care about, and let people find you. Because I would not be happy if I was just covering a bunch of new animated movies, or just a bunch of new movies in general, just because they were popular or because people wanted to see me talk about them. That would not be creatively satisfying for me in any way, shape, or form. What is creatively satisfying to me is that I am making videos about things that I genuinely care about, which in this case is Toy Story. It's a thing I've been passionate about since I was a very tiny baby, and I just found an audience of people that is also passionate about that very thing, and so I put myself out into the world, I put my heart and soul out there, and attracted an audience of people that shared that passion and wanted to hear more about it. I did not try to chase trends and then strike gold with something that other people already wanted to see, because then I would have pigeonholed myself into something that I just didn't care about. And yeah, that's so to tie it back to the original point, recommending me stuff to review, I'm not really the person to do that for, because I just don't, if I don't care about something, I can't make a video about it. I just can't do it. I can't bring myself to fake. I can't. While there is of course a performative element to things like the Destroyed Everything series, as I talked about in previous videos, I'm not, as you might be able to tell by these gaming streams, I don't sound like that all the time. It takes effort to make my voice sound like that for that long. So, but the only reason I can do that is because I care. Like, I couldn't do that for The Good Dinosaur, I don't think. Well, okay, that's not true, because I actually do, like, I have a stake in all Pixar's movies, so, like, I could definitely, when we get to The Good Dinosaur in the Pixar ranking, I'm gonna rip it to shreds, and it's gonna be fun. But I guess I should pick, like, I could never make a Destroyed Everything series for Despicable Me 3, or 4, or Hop, or any of those shitty movies, because I just don't care that much. I can't bring that, I can't fake those kinds of emotions. If I don't care about something, like, that's, in both good ways and bad, I can't put on a mask of my emotions. If I don't like something, you will know immediately, and you won't have to goad the truth out of me. You won't have to try to bait me. You're not gonna have to try to, like, read between the lines and read and examine the subtext of my wording or my facial expressions if you're meeting me in real life, to try to figure out what I like and don't like, because I wear my heart on the sleeve constantly. So, like, if you recommended me something to review and I just don't know anything about it, it's not really, the only way that works is because, like, people have been asking me to shit on Hazbin Hotel for a while. They've been asking me to make a video talking about that, and for a while I just didn't care. I'm like, I don't know anything about this show, I'm not gonna make a video about something I don't know about. Of course, now, not saying I have plans to do it, but if I wanted to, I could make a video doing the opposite for Hazbin Hotel, but that's only because I developed a passion for it, and it's very rare that that kind of thing happens. So, yeah. One of my favorite clips to use in my videos. I don't really have any. I mean, well, the answer is Lewis, I guess. The classic Lewis Litt, who wrote this "What's Happening to the Script" clips are iconic. But as far as like, I don't really go back to a consistent pool of clips anymore for my videos because that can get really tiresome to look at really quickly. I kind of just I make a concerted effort to keep the visuals as varied and diverse as possible, which is it's been tricky for the Toy Story video because the movie's only 81 minutes long and the video's 2 hours long, so it's hard to not reuse clips from the movie when talking about certain scenes, but I'm trying my best, and of course I'll get it peer reviewed by my friends and they'll tell me if it's too overtly non-diverse, but that is like something I'm very conscious of, so I don't really have specific clips that I come back to, except I guess for the Lewis clips, because those are never going anywhere. Lewis Litt will never leave this channel. He will keep litting people the hell up. Will I do an audio commentary for Zootopia 1 and 2 at one point? Maybe. I don't want to rule it out entirely. It's possible, but no current plans to do so. I'd get 20,000 Twitter bots if I did a video praising Hazbin Hotel. Yeah, I don't know. I've thought about. I'll be blunt with you guys. Season 2 has made me far more interested in the possibility of making a Hazbin Hotel video than I ever was before. Like after Season 1, I was like, I'm not touching this with a 10-foot pole. Sorry. After my D23 video last year, where all I said was, "Please go watch Hazbin Hotel. I love it and it healed my soul," and that was enough to piss people off. That's when I said, okay, maybe we don't make a video about this show. Maybe we don't. Because sometimes you test the waters. Sometimes you sneak those things into videos to kind of test the waters for how people would respond if you were to make a more extensive series about something. And that communicated to me clearly, okay, people do not want to see that. And I just kind of put any thought of doing that out of my head completely. But more recently, I've given much more serious thought to, like, how I would structure it. What would I do? What would I say? Would I wait till the whole show was over? Or would I do it season by season? What would I do? And I'm not saying I still have plans to do it, but I'm closer to doing it than I was a couple months ago, that's for sure. Stream keeps dying. Okay, so I guess I should wrap things up. Clearly something is going wrong with my internet. It might have something to do with if there's maintenance going on around my area right now. I don't know if that's impacting things, but I'll answer a couple more quick questions. If anyone has any last minute questions you want to ask, last call, and then I'm gonna wrap up the stream because clearly something is going wrong with the internet right now, which is why the stream keeps dying. If not, then we'll just leave things here, and when we will, the next time you see me will be next weekend on Sunday. No matter what happens with the Toy Story love letter copyright wise, on Sunday I will be streaming the final part of Galaxy 2. We'll do the final Green Stars, we'll do the Grandmaster Galaxy, and then we'll be done with Galaxy 2. And then maybe the weekend after that, maybe on the 29th or the 30th, we'll do a stream starting up Minecraft Story Mode Season 2. Maybe. Solid maybe on that one. But that will be it for this. Okay, last call questions. Hottest Cars character, not answering that. Thoughts on the Mario character Toadette. Almost as good as Captain Toad. Close, but no cigar. What do I think of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Grizzy and the Lemmings, Hi Hi Puffy, Amy Yumi, or Total Drama? I haven't seen a single one of them. Would I rather watch Mario 93 or a Minecraft movie? Well, devil you know versus the devil you don't. I think this time I would take the devil I don't. Because I don't know how, like, Mario 93 was legitimately physically painful for me to watch. I can't imagine how a Minecraft movie would possibly be worse than that. New Name Wants to Battle MHA cover. I suppose that makes sense since the new episodes are airing that tracks. Did you guys know that Nate Wants to Battle makes other content than just anime covers? You should go check out some of his original music, because he's really great at making original music. Thoughts on the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse special, Mickey's Great Clubhouse Hunt? I remembered liking it a lot as a kid, and I'll leave it at that. Last call, what do I think of a Minecraft movie? I think everything I know about it has told me to stay as far away from it as possible. Okay, and we'll go ahead and leave things there. Sorry the stream kind of fell apart at the end from a technical perspective. I don't know. I'm assuming, like I said, the maintenance has to do with why the stream is kind of phasing in and out right now. But hopefully you still enjoyed hanging out today nonetheless. I don't know where the 3 hours went. I feel like I blinked and then all of a sudden the stream was over. But hopefully you enjoyed hanging out. Hopefully you enjoyed watching me play through Dragons of 3D again for the 11 millionth time. Hopefully you have a good rest of your day. Hopefully you have a good rest of your week. I wish you the best of luck with any exams or work obligations that you're currently tied up in. And I hope to see you all soon for whatever it is you decide to watch next. And Titan willing, I hope you have a Toy Story 1 video that you can watch on Saturday. But no promises, because copyright is a bitch. Have a good week, everybody.